Chapter 1173. I've long heard of Fairy Scarlet's great name. You're indeed as beautiful as a fairy. The esteemed guest behind us wants this brat's life. Don't seek your own death. The old man with a walking stick standing in the black fog laughed sinisterly. Fairy Scarlet was unperturbed. Cut the crap. I'll protect this brat today. None of you can touch him. Then I'll have to ask for your advice. Friend over there, our goal is the same. Suppress this woman first, then snatch Lin Shun. The three assassin captains communicated telepathically. The giant black hand condensed into a black-robed man with a cold face. He completely ignored the three captains and charged towards Lin Shun to grab him. His 5 fingers swept across the void, crushing the entire sky into pieces. Even the 3 captains were shocked by his strength. Demons and monsters scram. Scarlet waved her sleeve, and the moonlight cut off the dark aura in the void. God-stealing omens successfully activated. Consumed 8,993 talent points. Stolen attribute points. 30,000 high-grade dark energy points. 50,000 heavenly path points. 50,000 rune energy points. 30,000 cultivation technique essence points. Just as Lin Shun activated God-stealing omen, Fairy Scarlet grabbed his shoulder. Before she left, she sent a telepathic message to Lin Shun. Don't forget our cooperation. You owe me a favor for blocking the enemy for you today. Silver light flashed on her jade fingers, and Lin Shun and Han Yiji suddenly disappeared. I like to see what ability you have to capture people here. Fairy Scarlet raised her slender hand, and an exquisite red light shrouded the sky. The crimson moonlight rose in a radius of 500 kilometers, causing all the enemies to look solemn. This woman's strength is so terrifying. It's beyond our expectations. A great battle of the ages had broken out. Southern border, Qinghai. Tens of thousands of kilometers away from the Red Moon platform, Lin Shun and Han Yiji were teleported here. Lin Shun's eyes were slightly solemn. The assassins from 9 Shadows should be sent by the Een Son of Heaven. What's that black thing? It looks a bit like the Dark Shadow clan. Class monitor, be careful. Han Yiji's 5 fingers streaked across the void, and her palm struck the sky. Chi! Bang bang. The 2 spiritual palms collided in the void, causing the sea to churn and waves to roll. Fairy Scarlet really did send you out. In the end, she still wants me to deal with you. Long Yijing stepped out of the crack in the void and smiled faintly. He hadn't left yet. Lin Shun raised an eyebrow. It was you who spread the news. Even though Lin Shun's performance in the Sacred Burial Mountain Range was world-shaking and had exposed many secrets, the sacred boundary was as vast as the starry sky of the universe. So it wasn't easy to spread the news to the ears of some true supreme experts, not to mention rushing to the south so quickly. There were definitely some people with monstrous authority who added fuel to the fire. Lin Shun, I know you're a tough nut to crack. I don't plan to fight to the death with you. If you know what's good for you, give me the armed guard you used in the Sacred Burial Mountain Range, and I can let you go. Otherwise, you will have more trouble in the future. As long as I want to use my power on the Demon Genius list to keep an eye on you, countless experts will come knocking on my door. Long Yijing seemed to have grasped Lin Shun's weakness as he spoke. Suddenly, Lin Shun said calmly, Long Yijing, you have crossed my bottom line. I didn't want to bicker with you at first, but now I have changed my mind. I will take your life. Clang! The azure moon appeared, and Lin Shun held a saber in his hand. His domineering aura surged. What a joke. You think you can take my life? You're a dog who refuses a toast only to drink a forfeit. As Long Yijing sneered, the space behind him fluctuated, and another person appeared. I already said that this kid is an ignorant fellow. Just crush him to death. What's the point of talking nonsense with him? The newcomer carried a sword on his back. His gaze was sharp, and his face was handsome. He wore a green robe and looked like an elegant gentleman. However, there was a strong, murderous aura between his brows. Han Yiji's expression changed slightly. It was Xiao Jing from the Demon Genius list. 2 peerless demons from the Demon Genius list had come today, just for Lin Shun. who was on the Demon Genius list. This kind of battle was rare. Leave Han Yiji to me. You focus on dealing with Lin Shun. Xiao Jing smiled faintly and suddenly drew his sword. The sound of the sword was like a coiling dragon shaking the sky, piercing through the sky. The four of them faced each other. Han Yiji sent a voice transmission to Lin Shun. Class monitor, focus on breaking out of the encirclement. I have my own way of escaping. I will stall one of them and then create an opportunity for you. There are less than 7 months to the Holy War. As long as you participate in the Holy War and become a candidate for the Demon Genius list, they will be helpless. Don't expose your whereabouts before that happens. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, Han Yiji's starry eyes glowed with a strong spiritual power, raising her cultivation to a new height. She swept her finger and pointed at Xiao Jing. Xiao Jing quickly waved his 3-foot-long sword. The holy sword's radiance was like a crescent moon that slashed down and cut off Han Yiji's spiritual power. The battle between the two of them was triggered. One was on the Demon Genius list, and the other was the first on the Demon Genius list. In addition, Han Yiji had completely crushed the previous first on the Demon Genius list. Even Xiao Jing couldn't determine the winner in a short time. System Kill Move. Activated Blue Rank Kill Move. Heaven Burning Purgatory Fire. Target locked. 2 people. The fiery clouds churned, and the crimson fiery light was like a storm that reached the heavens and the earth, sweeping over the 2 people's heads. Long Yi Jing and Xiao Jing had to activate their holy qi to defend themselves. The pressure on Han Yiji decreased slightly. 8th transformation, ultimate moment. The holy phoenix wings spread out, and Lin Chen entered the state. All his holy points were enshrouded in holy light, and the vast aura was long and deep. The 7 odd crystals on his body made Long Yi Jing's mind focus. It's only been a few days, but this kid's holy points are completely filled with holy qi. He even refined another odd crystal. What kind of monstrous growth speed is this? A battle between saints was purely a waste of resources. After the previous battle, even Long Yi Jing was only at 90% and wasn't at his peak state. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 5 streams of light appeared, and Lin Chen's clones appeared. And the battle quickly. Don't give him a chance. Long Yi Jing's shoulders shook, and the 7 thunder odd crystals exploded. The holy lightning gathered in his right arm like 1,000 dragons of lightning. Hidden lightning killing claw. With a flash, the huge claw of the thunder shadow tore through the sky and headed straight for Lin Shun. This attack had 80% of Long Yi Jing's power, and it wasn't weakened by the clones like before. Ordinary moves can't block it. Since that's the case, break for me. The light, odd crystals shone brightly, and Lin Shun drew his sword and slashed. A rapidly spinning aurora blade aura flashed out from the azure bright moon blade and split into 5. Chi! Boom! The blade aura exploded, and the blade aura fragments filled the sky like a rain of flowers. The destructive power of pure strength and the shattering of spiritual fluctuations suddenly twisted towards the lightning claw. Boom! 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 The endless explosion shattered the lightning claw, but the remaining force of the lightning claw still penetrated and attacked Lin Shun. The clone was already prepared. He raised his sword and slashed Sword Fury Sky, which split into 5 sword rainbows. Another doppelganger drew his bow and shot out a ray of light. The 4 consecutive shadows cut through the void, and the dragon-shaped spear chi converged into a single spear, controlling all the attacks. With a boom, the remaining power of the Thunderclaw was crushed into nothingness. What? Long Yi Jing was shocked. How did this kid improve so quickly? Chapter 1174. Sluggish Rune. Lin Shun shot out a sluggish rune that contained 10,000 points of runes. It exploded above Long Yi Jing's head, and the space around him froze. In that split second, Lin Shun flapped his holy phoenix wings and used Dragon Flash to break out of the encirclement. He used the innate shadow art to disperse the aura around him. Trying to run? Spatial guide. Long I Ching crushed a spatial talisman, and the space within 1,000 miles was sealed by a spatial barrier. This was a spatial guide that the Grand Elder and his family had refined. Anyone below the fourth heaven true, Saint realm wouldn't be able to escape. Lin Shun took out a small silver sword and shot it in the direction of the enchantment. Chi! Bang! The moment the barrier shattered, Long I Ching's expression changed. This brat has a spatial sword? I won't let you go so easily. He broke through the sluggish rune's restriction and charged towards Lin Shun. Whoosh! His 4 doppelgangers blocked the dragon ceremonial crystals as they activated their innate ability, absolute shadow, flying daggers, feathers of auspicious light, true dragon dance, heavenly sword fury, and many other ultimate techniques. After being enhanced by the instant light split shadows, their strength was comparable to that of an early or mid-third heaven true Saint realm expert. A flurry of attacks enveloped Long I Ching. Heavenly guide, lightning break. Lightning rumbled as Long I Ching slashed out with his sword. When the lightning sword was unsheathed, the projection of the lightning sage appeared above his head. He made a sword slashing motion, and lightning flashed. Chi! 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 Bang! Long I Ching's sword broke through all the clone's attacks. Not only that, the projection of lightning filled the sky, and sword chi spread out for thousands of miles. 3 of the clones were destroyed. Not only had he destroyed their attacks, but he had also killed 3 early-stage, third heaven true saints at the same time. Long I Ching had brought out his true strength to chase after Lin Shun. Holy lightning appeared on his sword, and he slashed towards Lin Chen's main body. Whoosh! The 5th doppelganger appeared above his head, and the 9-colored starlight in its palm spun slowly. Then, the doppelganger threw it at the top of his head. Long I Ching was shocked. His family's elder had perished under this 9-colored star. It seemed to be Lin Chen's trump card, and its power far exceeded the power he had displayed that day. It was comparable to that peerless blade from before. Solitary thunder. Long I Ching swung her sword again, sending out a snowflake-like lightning sword chi. It spun like a wheel and slashed towards the 5 9-colored stars. Whoosh! Rumble! The 5 9-colored light pillars were sliced apart, and the aura of destruction returned to silence as it was devoured by the lightning. It was truly the appearance of 10,000 lightning bolts, and all living things were silent. Has Lin Shin grown to such a level? Even the dragon ritual crystal was forced to use this move. Xiao Jing's heart sank when he saw this scene from the corner of his eye. Part of his strength is restricted by the sure kill technique, but he can still break my 9 tribulation star with 1 sword and ensure that he is unharmed. Is this the original strength of the demon leaderboard? Lin Shun was about to mobilize his strength and use God's tear again when something strange happened in the peach blossom plant pouch. Rumble. Demonic aura filled the sky, and a dark shadow appeared. Countless demonic shadows entered Lin Chen's body through the peach blossom plant pouch. His phoenix wings turned into dark demonic wings, and his silver robe became a dark shadow in the night. 2 dragon horns grew from his head. At this moment, Lin Shun was like an unparalleled demon king. He didn't look like a human at all. This is Little Dark Shadow's aura. Has this little guy finally come out of seclusion? Lin Shun was ecstatic. With a flap of his demonic wings, Lin Shun entered the void and traveled thousands of miles in an instant. He was like a shooting star. What? They were dumbfounded when they saw Lin Chen's speed increase countless times. Even Long I Ching couldn't catch up with him. At this moment, in the south, tens of thousands of miles away, the black-robed man was horrified. This aura, has the Lord arrived? However, he soon realized that the target was far away from him. No, something's wrong. This aura is still too weak. It's not the Lord, but there's no doubt that it's a creature from the same lineage as the Lord. How can there be a second heaven-defying existence like the Lord in this world? Could it be that there's a second ultimate dark shadow in this world? The black-robed man wanted to force his way out of the encirclement and fight. When he entered the void, he was slapped out by Fairy Crimson. D***. Where did this woman come from? Could it be that she knows more about space travel than the Dark Shadow tribe? The black-robed man was furious. Fairy Crimson smiled faintly and said, "You're underestimating me if you want to chase someone in front of me." Outside the Saint's world, there were countless planes and stars. Dangers, fortuitous encounters, brand new, unknown worlds, or races that have been hiding in the cracks of space could be hiding in them. In a certain plane of the void, several old wills were communicating. I didn't expect this day to come so soon. Yes, the day when Her Majesty receives the inheritance of the last ancestor is just around the corner. Her Majesty is the hope of the demon-human tribe. Her talent is unparalleled. At the age of 16, she inherited the inheritance of countless ancestors and became the only queen of the demon-human tribe, the only empress. As long as she receives the final enlightenment of that ancestor, our empress will become the strongest in this world. Ha ha ha. Bring down the gods of the human tribe. The only flaw is that we haven't found and killed the star of hope of the human tribe. Our tribe's divination master has deduced that the human tribe will definitely have a shocking son. The strength of his destiny can even affect the general trend of the demon-human tribe. Her Majesty's clone has infiltrated the human tribe for many years without success. Perhaps this prediction is not accurate. No matter what, Her Majesty's divine technique has reached great success and is twice as fast as expected. She can attack the human tribe before the star of prophecy appears. In the dark void, a beautiful and exquisite figure sat cross-legged with her beautiful eyes closed. Once I inherit the memories of that ancestor, my strength will rush to a realm that no one in the demon-human tribe has ever reached. However, it is very likely that I will lose my memories. Lin Shun, will I forget you? The beauty sighed faintly. Hundreds of twists and turns. 7 days after the great battle in the southern border, in a dark hall, a handsome and cold-horned young man stood with his hands clasped behind his back. His hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were as deep as the abyss. A baleful aura enveloped the entire space. Whoosh! A dark shadow descended, streaking across the sky like ink. The youth narrowed his eyes and slowly turned around. When he saw the black-robed man return empty-handed, the murderous aura between his brows suddenly soared. When the black-robed man was about to speak, the horned youth grabbed horizontally with his 5 fingers. An extremely strange suction force twisted the entire space into a vortex. In an instant, the black-robed man's neck was pinched in his palm. "You should know what mission I gave you last time. What do you mean by coming back like this? Do you want to die?" The black-robed man, who was strong enough to fight Fairy Scarlet, was lifted into the air like a defenseless chick. Replying to the messenger, "I came back this time. I have something urgent to report." The black-robed man spoke with difficulty. His face gradually turned pale, as if his vitality had been sucked away. The youth frowned and released his grip. The black-robed man coughed violently and knelt on one knee. Then, the black-robed man briefly described the situation he had encountered. When he talked about Lin Chen's escape, the horned youth's expression changed drastically. The second ultimate shadow? Chapter 1175. Are you sure? This is no small matter. If anything goes wrong, I will be merciful to kill you. The horned young man shouted coldly. The black-robed man trembled and cupped his fists. Master is a unique existence in this world. I can guarantee with my life that I won't be mistaken about the aura of Master. Silence. The young man gazed into the distance and thought to himself, could it be that Tuo Sheng left something behind? If not, could someone else have obtained Tuo Sheng's inheritance and nurtured the second ultimate shadow? This is no small matter. I must report this to Master as soon as he comes out of seclusion. His eyes glinted coldly as he instructed the black-robed man, "Go and search for Lin Shun. If you can't bring him back, Do your best to bring back the ultimate shadow." The black-robed man cupped his fists and said, "Yes." "Mount Bujo Manu." Lin Chun landed on the ground, and Little Dark Shadow transformed into a black dragon shrouded in devilish energy. This time, the little fellow's aura and appearance already bore the basic characteristics of the Dark Shadow race, the Devil race, and the Dragon race. This little guy can even wrestle with a second heaven true Saint Realm expert. The ultimate Shadow's talent is terrifying. When it was born, it only had the combat strength of a fifth tribulation combat emperor. Lin Chun could feel that as long as it was given enough resources, it would grow as fast as him. Behind Mount Bujo is the Great Wilderness. Once you enter the Great Wilderness, you will be in the territory of the ferocious beasts. Even saints don't dare to enter that place. Good, I have the perfect cover. With a thought, Lin Chun activated the Sacred Dragon's possession. After swallowing 3 Sacred Beast cores, the Sacred Dragon's dragon veins had reached 240 million. His pure strength was 240 million dragon energy points. Lin Chun put on a silver mask. It was a relic of the primordial dragon clan that he had obtained on the Rainbow Island. It emitted the ferocious aura of the primordial dragon clan. Lin Chun, let's take a break. I am now the Heavenly Saint Silver Dragon. I will investigate the whereabouts of the ancient Taishi dragon and destroy the illusory enchantment stone. I have accumulated enough strength in the past 7 months. What monstrous genius list. Xiao Jing and Long Yijing, right? Wearing a silver mask, Lin Chun let out a few evil laughs. He looked just like a fiendish, primordial dragon clan member. Little Dark Shadow tore through the void and advanced. Lin Chun disappeared. Host consumed 20,000 Heavenly Dao points and 36 million Heavenly Dao Astral Lightning to create the blue rank Sure Kill skill, Astral Lightning. Suitable targets. 3. During the journey, Lin Chun continuously consumed roaming soul fruits and dragon blood saliva to refine his body and refine his spirit. His realm sword. 3 days later, in the Great Wilderness, Purple Charm City. It was a giant purple city made of grade 6 ores. This was one of the territories managed by the illusionary Hard Dragon, and all the beasts within a radius of several million miles would gather here to trade and exchange resources. After arriving at this place, Lin Chun put Little Shadow into Clear Snow's plant pouch. Lin Chun flew into Purple Charm City in an incomparably high-profile manner, attracting the attention of countless ferocious beasts that had transformed into human and half-human forms. It's a Lord Holy Dragon. What a domineering aura. He released his aura directly. Is he here to participate in the gathering? Look at his mask. It looks like a treasure from the primordial nobles. Tisk tisk. He's stronger than most of the beasts I've seen. Don't look at him too much. Don't invite a fatal disaster. There was an unwritten rule in the vicious beast world. When entering the territories of certain races, those below the realm of holy beasts had to walk. Only holy beasts had the right to fly. For some larger territories, low-grade 8th Order holy beasts didn't have the right to fly. Only mid-grade 8th Order holy beasts comparable to 4th Heaven True saints had the right to fly. Lin Chun swaggered into the city in accordance with the rules. If he walked in, it would attract the suspicions of the beasts. Although Purple Charm City was not as prosperous as the human world, it was rich in resources. In the Great Wilderness, there was a sea of cultivation resources. Lin Chun flew towards the center of Purple Charm City. On a wide street, there were dozens of figures setting up stalls. Oh, these people are all transformed from holy beasts. They're here to trade for cultivation resources, saint-grade treasures, 8th Order holy beasts, and a bunch of other things. Interesting. Lin Chun licked his lips and landed on the street with the mask on his face. Dozens of holy beasts in human form turned to look at him, sizing him up from head to toe. A few of them stared greedily at his mask. These holy beasts came from different races. They were different from the holy beasts in the outside world. If he attacked one of them, he would provoke the vicious beast clan behind him. Lin Chun strolled leisurely on the street, eyeing the holy beast stalls. He stopped in front of a gray-robed old man and grabbed 2 stalks of 10,000 years old snow-bone ginseng. He asked casually, "How much for this?" The old man raised his hand and said, 300,000 silver Saint Origin coins. Lin Shun directly threw out an item and turned to leave. The old man was about to fly into a rage when he realized that Lin Shun had left 2 drops of dragon blood saliva. He was overjoyed and kept them away. The other holy beast's eyes lit up. These were holy beast supreme cultivation treasures. Lin Shun also set up a stall and shouted, 1 long king woe, 2 10,000 immortal needles, or 2 drops of dragon blood saliva. I'll buy all the human cultivation techniques you have. I only want half-orange grade cultivation techniques. With Lin Shen's shout, the holy beasts were all stunned. Why would a dragon like you want human cultivation techniques? A smart holy beast immediately went up to Lin Shun and said with a smile, "You want human cultivation techniques? That's easy. I have 2 half-orange grade cultivation techniques." He took out 2 brand new scrolls. Lin Shun waved his hand and placed 3 types of holy beasts in front of him. "I'll take them. Dragon blood saliva, 10,000 immortal needles, and long kingwo. Pick one." The man was overjoyed and chose the dragon blood saliva and long kingwo. The dozens of holy beasts were shocked when they saw this scene. Was there really an idiot who was willing to use holy beasts to exchange for human cultivation techniques? My friend, this old man also has 2 cultivation techniques. Take a look at mine first. These 3 scrolls are the newest ones. A group of holy beasts swarmed forward and surrounded Lin Shun, afraid that he would use up all 3 of his treasures. Holy beasts were different in structure, so they were unable to cultivate human cultivation techniques and battle techniques. These holy beasts had killed many powerful human cultivators in the past, so the cultivation techniques they obtained were all stored in their storage rings. They lived in the vast wilderness, so if they wanted to sell these cultivation techniques, they would have to leave the vast wilderness and pass through the man realm. They would have to take the risk of traveling to other human territories to sell these cultivation techniques. It was not worth it for the holy beasts. Therefore, all of these cultivation techniques were benefited by Lin Shun. He only used 1 long kingwo and 2 drops of dragon blood saliva to exchange for a half-orange grade cultivation technique. It was a great profit. In just 15 minutes, Lin Shun had bought 77 half-orange grade cultivation techniques. It was a great harvest. In addition to the half-orange grade cultivation techniques that he had accumulated in the past, Lin Shun could fuse them into an orange grade cultivation technique. Just as Lin Shun was about to click on the fusion button, a flash of light whizzed past. A woman in a bright red robe was wearing a cloak, so her face could not be seen. She had a slender figure. When Lin Shun saw this woman, he was slightly stunned. This woman was actually a human woman disguised as a holy beast just like him. Moreover, Lin Shun knew her. Chapter 1176. Lin Shun whistled at the red-robed lady and teased, "Beauty, aren't you afraid of being lonely by yourself?" The red-robed lady paused and stared at Lin Shun coldly. Lin Shun shrugged and said, "Don't look at me so fiercely. Haven't you heard of a song? I want to stand on the surface of the sea, catch a big moon, and hang it on my pants so bright the sacred beasts were stunned. Is there something wrong with this brother's brain? You should use a better way to pick up girls." Unexpectedly, the red-robed lady trembled as if she was struck by lightning. She looked at Lin Shun in shock. Lin Shun reached out his hand with the silver mask and said, "I wish us a happy cooperation in advance." The woman looked at him deeply through the cloak, shook his hand, and said with a smile, "Okay, handsome. With you protecting me, I'm more confident." The sacred beast stared at the two in shock. What kind of secret signal was this? Hang on his pants? That's right. Lin Shun was reciting the song that the clear sky Saint King hummed when he was dancing on his grave. Only those who had experienced the Saint King's tune that day could recognize it. This lady was Jian Qinsheng from the Sword region. That day, after she witnessed Lin Shun become a saint, she returned to the Sword region to adjust her state and exploded her acupoints. In the end, she exploded 7 acupoints and was only a hair's breadth away from breaking through to the 8th Saint acupoint. Her peerless talent was comparable to the little demon empress of the Purple Cloud King Valley. After becoming a true sword saint, Jian Qingqing's first mission was to sneak into Purple Charm City and kill the illusory Heart Dragon's crown prince, Huan Wuxin. Huan Wuxin had ambushed and killed Jian Qingqing's junior sister, and many of the Grand Elders were furious. Jian Qingqing took the initiative to sneak in and kill the Dragon Crown Prince. This time, she obtained a sacred pill that could eliminate the aura of the human race. She didn't expect to meet Lin Shun here. You dare to sneak in here with only 7 saint cavities? You're quite bold. Lin Shun smiled playfully. Jian Qingqing concealed her true appearance and smiled coldly. Aren't you the same? The pot calling the kettle black isn't a good thing. Lin Shun transmitted his voice. What's your target? Jian Qingqing said. During the banquet, he killed the crown prince by presenting a gift. What about you? Lin Shun smiled and said same. When you present the gift, take the opportunity to destroy the illusory heart enchanting dragon's heart enchanting stone. Jian Qingqing said, You are really bold. I heard that this item is the last inheritance of this clan. It must be hidden in the most guarded position of the bewitching dragons. Are you confident? Lin Shun said, Take life and death lightly. If you don't accept it, then do it. Jian Qingqing clicked his tongue and said, So fierce. Lin Shun laughed. You're even fiercer in bed. Jian Qingqing said, After becoming a saint, did your skin become thicker? Lin Shun took out a mirror and rubbed his chin, looking at his sinister silver mask. Really? Why do I feel like I've become more handsome? As they chatted, Lin Shun looked around the street. Consumed 12350 intermediate talent points to activate Divine Theft Omen. Stolen attribute points. 2. 5 billion high-grade health, 1 billion high-grade battle chi essence, 100,000 high-grade rune energy, 5,800,000 strengthening points, 250,000 heaven's path points, 5,000 high-grade fire attribute points. Among the dozens of saint beasts, there was no lack of peak early-stage 8th Order powerhouses. Lin Shun's stolen attribute points this time caused another wave of attribute points to surge. With a thought, Lin Shun opened the system. Heavenly Path Attribute Pickup System version 6. 0 Host. Lin Shun. Cultivation. First Heaven Saint Realm Perfection. 10 Saint Cavities. High-grade Battle Chi Essence. 55. For billion points limit power, 2. 1 billion Dragon Energy. Flesh Shell Awakening plus 50%. High-grade Health. 60. 7 billion points High-grade Spirit. 5. 98 million points. Peak of Initial Saint Realm. High-grade Cultivation Technique Soul Essence. 1. 88 million points. High-grade Rune Energy. 1. 17 million points. Intermediate Heaven's Path points. 390,000 points Intermediate Talent points. 840,000 points. Set Essence. 0 points Blank Attribute. 0 points. Strengthening points. 9. 7 million high-grade elemental energy, 940,000 points of fire, 650,000 points of earth, 560,000 points of wood, 670,000 points of metal, 880,000 points of water, 850,000 points of lightning, 540,000 points of wind, 720,000 points of light, 890,000 points of darkness. Cultivation Technique Status Column, Open. Bloodline Status Column, Open. Life Awakening Column, Open. Passive Talent Column. Dual Cultivation, Assault, Laceration. Quasi-Orange Rank, Super Chaos. Orange Rank, Extreme God Possession Fragment. March 4th, Active Talent Column. Divine Theft Omen, Fatal Bloodthirst, Super Dimensional Teleportation. Ultimate Moment, Ultimate Return. Sovereign's Descent, Quasi-Orange Rank, Absolute Life and Death. Orange Rank, Instant Light Split Shadows. Orange Rank, Annihilation. Killing Skill Column, Open. Special Rune Column, Open. Innate Skill, Open. Treasures on Hand. 134 types of half-orange grade cultivation techniques. After going through the Rainbow Island, the Sacred Burial Mountain, and the Battle of the Sage King's Tomb, Lin Shun had obtained a total of system. What's the probability of me fusing orange grade cultivation techniques? Host has activated the fusion function. Estimated consumption 2,599 Heaven's Path points. Fusion of 134 types of half-orange grade cultivation techniques. Fusion of orange grade cultivation techniques 97. 64%. Fusion of orange grade cultivation techniques 53. 22%. Fusion of orange grade movement techniques 56. 71%. The difference between cultivation techniques and movement techniques is so huge. I can only choose offensive battle techniques. Lin Shun clicked on Fusion. Following that, all the half-orange grade cultivation techniques in his storage ring disappeared. Ding! With a crisp sound, a new orange grade cultivation technique was born. Low-level orange grade cultivation technique. Spiritual type battle technique. 8-part celestial voice of the burning dragon. Lin Shun sucked in a breath of cold air. He hit the jackpot. It turned out to be the rarest orange grade spiritual type battle technique. He hit the jackpot. 8-part celestial voice of the burning dragon. To cultivate this cultivation technique, one must have at least saint-level spiritual power. 1 dragon sound wave can shatter mountains and rivers. 4 dragon sound wave can burn the heavens. 8 dragon sound wave can burn the world. Lin Shun read it and was shocked. This secret spiritual technique cultivated one's spiritual power into the shape of a burning dragon. When the burning dragon was angry, its sound wave could destroy the world. If one's spiritual power was cultivated to the level of a 4-headed burning dragon, the spiritual sound wave release could also have the effect of burning the enemy's spiritual power, greatly reducing the enemy's combat power. If it was an 8-headed burning dragon, it might really be able to destroy many saint-level beings with a single thought. Another super powerful orange-grade cultivation technique. Haha, my luck is all thanks to luck. System. Cultivate the 8-part celestial voice of the burning dragon. Consume 230,000 high-grade cultivation technique soul essences. Beginning fusion of cultivation memories. The 5 clones immediately absorbed all the cultivation memories in Clear Snow's pouch. At that moment, a soft voice came from the center of Purple Charm City. Friends from afar, thank you for your hard work. If you have time, please come to my palace. I'll be holding a small banquet in 4 days. I hope you'll do me the honor of attending. It was an invitation from the illusory Heart Dragon clan. Jian Qingcheng suddenly asked curiously, by the way, what kind of gift did you prepare for the illusory Heart Dragon? Jian Qingcheng was not interested in other men, but Lin Shun was like a box of endless surprises. No one could guess what he was going to do next. Lin Shun smiled playfully. It's going to be a big and rough gift, of course. Chapter 1177. All the sacred beasts looked at each other. None of them wanted to miss this opportunity. The illusory Heart Dragon had a dragon pool. Every 100 years, it would be open to foreign guests. There were only a few spots, and those who entered could cultivate their spiritual power. Most of the beasts had a weak point in their spiritual power. Unless they were like the illusory Heart Dragon, which was born with spiritual power, it would be a great opportunity for them to be recognized and soaked in the pool. Jian Qingqing's interest was piqued by Lin Shun, but he was deliberately mystifying and did not reveal anything. This made the beautiful woman grit her teeth, wishing she could tear him apart and see all his secrets. Lin Shun gave part of the Long Qingguo, dragon blood saliva, and 10,000 immortals needles to Jian Qingqing. He asked her to continue guarding the stall and purchase 8th grade ores for him. As for himself, he joined the team that was fusing the cultivation memories. Go, little shadow. Lin Shun released a wisp of spiritual power and attached it to Little Shadow. After the little guy ate and drank to his heart's content, he ran out of Qing Shui's plant pouch and sneaked into the depths of Purple Charm City. In the center of Purple Charm City, there was an undulating mountain range. There were 4 palaces in the north, south, east, and west. In the middle was a white jade plaza. Lin Shun sneaked into the depths. Behind the four palaces, there were many spatial runes that flickered in and out of existence. They were all spatial barriers. Little Shadow hid in the cracks of the void and showed a hesitant look. The purple lightning above his head crackled and popped a few words. What should I do? There are so many spatial barriers, and they are heavily guarded. Little Shadow can definitely pass through these spatial barriers, but the barriers have powerful spiritual power attached to them. If I'm careless and cause a spiritual ripple, I'll alarm the owner of this place. A large number of spatial barriers here were attached to spiritual power. If the barrier was passed through, it would be impossible not to alarm the spiritual power attached to the space. Obviously, the other party was on guard against existences like Little Shadow, who was born with the talent to travel through the void. There were similar dragons in the wasteland who were gifted in space. Unless one's strength was several realms higher, it would be impossible to sneak in without anyone noticing. Lin Chen scanned his surroundings with his consciousness. There are so many enchantments. Where are the dragon pond and the illusory enchanted stone? Suddenly, Lin Shun discovered that there was an unprecedentedly bright light of the spirit attribute flickering at the edge of a certain location. Little guy, go over there and take a look. Little Shadow led Lin Chun around the back, heading towards a valley in the south. Although there was a spatial enchantment barrier, Lin Chun could still see the valley clearly. Only this valley had the attribute light of spiritual power. There are so many spiritual energy attributes here. It's very likely that this is the location of the dragon pool. Now, all that's left is the illusory enchantment stone. Lin Shun then let Little Shadow take his spiritual consciousness and sneak into the many rooms in the palace. Some of these rooms were secret cultivation rooms, some were treasuries, and so on. Lin Shun discovered more than 10 illusory enchantment dragons of the 8th rank along the way. Their spiritual realms were very strong. The lowest level of their spiritual energy was half-step into the saint realm. Many savage beasts, after reaching the 8th rank, only had the spiritual energy of the heavenly completion realm. They were still a long way from reaching the half-step into the saint realm. Lin Shun searched through the 4 palaces, but he still couldn't find the location of the illusory enchantment stone. In the end, after searching for almost half a day, Lin Shun was about to return empty-handed. Little Shadow took Lin Chen's spiritual consciousness to a fragrant soup room at the edge of the southern palace. A dreamy, illusory crimson mist floated outside the room like dancing butterflies. Lin Chen was curious. He let Little Shadow continue to approach. The fragrance in the room was hazy and illusory. There was a faint, fragrant rose fragrance in the air, giving off a fatal sense of beauty and temptation. Even Little Shadow, who was hiding in the air, had the urge to get lost. Lin Chen's spiritual consciousness hurriedly fed Little Shadow a roaming soul fruit. Only then did he feel a little better. What a terrifying spiritual temptation. Even Little Shadow almost fell for it. What kind of demon is inside? Lin Shun let Little Shadow get closer to the room and activated his purple gold eyes. Lin Chen's eyes had awakened. Apart from obtaining the amorous rippling eyes, he had also obtained astonishing insight. Unless it was a 5th Heaven Saint realm expert or above sealing off space, there weren't many methods that could stop him from prying. Through the door, Lin Shun saw a large bathhouse. It was made of jade, and a fragrance lingered in the air. Amidst the dense mist, a graceful and beautiful figure could be vaguely seen. That beautiful figure's waist was as slender as a snake, lazily lying in the fragrant soup. She had a head of purple hair and a charming face. Her entire body exuded a sense of Lin Shun felt a hidden spiritual storm on this woman's body. It was similar to Fei Xiaoyu's, but even more terrifying. She's at least a mid-stage Saint Realm expert to be able to suppress my spiritual energy. This woman might be a high-ranking member of the illusory Hard Dragon clan. Let's keep watching. Maybe I'll find some clues. Lin Shen continued to observe. After observing for almost an hour, he didn't find any clues other than adult content. Lin Shen was a little anxious. Just as Little Shadow was about to collapse under the suppression of the spiritual energy, the woman finally stood up. Waves of snow flew in the air, embellished with cherry blossoms. Too fierce. Fortunately, Lin Shen was using his spiritual consciousness. Otherwise, he would have had a nosebleed. Suddenly, Lin Shen saw a pendant on the woman's snow-white neck. The crystal at the center was like an 8-colored, exquisite jade. Lin Shen's heart was in turmoil. It was on her body, illusory, heart-charming stone. Before Lin Shen could react, the purple-haired woman lifted a strand of hair, took off the pendant, and stuffed it into her mouth. The woman raised her head with a bewitching look in her eyes, and the worry between her brows gradually relaxed. Lin Shen was dumbfounded. Little Shadow was also dumbfounded. Lin Shen, who had been through a lot, felt his mind go blank for a fraction of a second. What kind of joke was this? She actually stuffed the illusory, heart-charming stone there. What's going on? What's going on? Lin Shen was at a loss of what to do. Stuff it in? Destroy the illusory, heart-charming stone? What's there to destroy? Do you want me, Lin Shen, to take out my gun and have a real fight? Until the illusory, heart-charming stone shatters? You want me to F***CK a dragon? Lin Shen shuddered from head to toe. This was much harder than snatching something in front of a fourth heaven true saint. Little Shadow can't hold on any longer. I can only think of other ways. Damn it, the Dragon Clan's perverted nature is not a joke. They really know how to play. Lin Shen ordered Little Shadow to retreat first. After Lin Shen left, the purple-haired woman's eyes flashed like lightning. She suddenly turned around and frowned. Why do I feel like I've been spied on? Even the Dragon King shouldn't be able to spy on me without me noticing. The purple-haired woman put on her clothes and stepped on the roof of the pavilion. She looked around, but the space around her didn't change at all. Could it be an illusion? Jian Qingqing looked at Lin Shen, who suddenly opened his eyes and frowned. He asked curiously, "What's wrong? Did you discover something?" Lin Shen rubbed his chin and said seriously, "I'm thinking about whether the female dragon here likes the back or the front." Jian Qingqing, what's in your head all day long? Chapter 1178. In the past 2 days, Lin Shen had spent a large amount of silver Saint Origin coins and Long Kingwo to purchase 9 Saint artifacts from the Purple Charm City's holy beasts. He had dismantled all of them and obtained the essence of the sets. A slender and elegant young girl descended from the void and bowed. "My lords, my master has invited all of you to a seat of honor for the banquet. Please move into the castle." The Saint Beasts looked at each other. Lin Shen and Jian Qingqing exchanged glances and followed the girl into the palace in Purple Charm City. Boom, boom, boom. Along the way, a large number of powerful auras descended. Lin Shen narrowed his eyes. Among these auras, there was no lack of beasts at the peak of the third heaven true saint realm. It seems like the scale of this banquet is very big. Lin Shen licked his lips excitedly. The sinister silver dragon mask made him look even more sinister. The young lady led the holy beast to the west side of the castle. Lin Shen and Jian Qingqing chose the same room. What are we going to do? Jian Qingqing removed her cloak, revealing her true appearance. She looked like a beautiful woman in her 30s. Coupled with her graceful figure, she was full of charm. Lin Shen snapped his fingers and smiled. "I will first create an opportunity to get close to the upper echelons of the illusory heart dragon. Then, I will create chaos along the way. You will find the right opportunity to kill them. Once your goal is accomplished, you'll find a chance to leave. If you can't leave, move closer to my position." Jian Qingqing frowned. "You're moving so quickly. Have you scouted the route? Is it okay?" Lin Shen knocked on the table. "It has to be okay, even if it's not okay." Late at night, in the White Jade Plaza at the center of the 4 palaces, there were beautiful women singing and dancing. Thousands of charming beauties danced their bodies, singing and dancing in celebration of peace, setting up a grand banquet. 2 seats were arranged side by side, and more than 100 figures sat there. All of them were 8th-rank holy beasts in human form. The banquet was filled with delicacies of dragon liver and phoenix marrow. The standard was extremely high. Lin Shun and Jian Qingsheng were also among them. The 2 of them pretended to taste the delicacies, but in reality, they were secretly observing. The 6 holy beasts sitting in the front row had strength equivalent to the 3rd heaven true saint realm. The holy beasts in the front row had only just arrived. Lin Shun looked around and used godly steel omen to steal everyone's stats. Thank you all for coming from afar to attend my birthday celebration. Thank you all for coming. The lazy and numb voice caused the holy beasts to shiver. It was as if their minds had been brushed by a soft sponge, making them feel comfortable and calm. Imperceptibly, it also formed a certain deterrence. The holy beasts in the front row had fearful looks on their faces. Everyone's gaze was focused on the main hall in the plaza. The purple-haired beauty moved gracefully and slowly sat down on the dragon throne. Her lazy and soft body was like a snake lying limply on the dragon throne. Her jade-like hands supported her cheeks, and her long legs were like 2 white snakes twisting around each other. She crossed her legs. Gulp! There was the sound of someone gulping. As a woman, Jian Qingsheng couldn't help but feel hot all over. This woman exuded a fatal temptation from head to toe. Apart from unique characteristics of her bloodline, this temptation was also due to her spiritual power and cultivation. Lin Chen's pupils, which were hidden under the silver dragon mask, trembled slightly. This woman was the Lady of the Cane, the savage woman who had stuffed the illusory enchantment stone into her body. A man and a woman stood on either side of her. The man was handsome and devilish, while the woman was like a lotus flower that had just emerged from the water. There was a soul-stealing charm between her brows. Jian Qingsheng stared at the handsome man beside her. This person was her target, the illusory enchantment heart dragon's crown prince. His strength was comparable to an early first heaven true saint realm expert. Lin Shun used godly steel omen on the 3 of them. Stolen stats successfully. Obtained 100,000 points of spiritual power, 50,000 points of runic energy, 500 million points of high-grade blood essence. At this time, I've heard that Madame Illusory Dream's beauty is unparalleled. She truly lives up to her reputation. Today, Madame's birthday is even more beautiful. This little brother has specially prepared a saint artifact to express my devotion. One of the saint beasts in the front row had transformed into a human. He wore a white robe and had a graceful bearing. He opened his palm, and a necklace surrounded by lightning floated in the air. Grade 1 saint artifact, Thunder Shadow Necklace. The purple-dressed woman beside Madame Illusory Dream bowed slightly and smiled. Thank you, my king. After she finished speaking, she received the Thunder Shadow Necklace with both hands. The tiger-faced man crossed his arms in front of his chest and sneered. You have the nerve to take out something like this? Ah. The white-robed holy beast was slightly displeased. He put on a fake smile and said, Don't tell me you have something better? Brother, heavenly tiger, why don't you let me broaden my horizons? The tiger-faced man picked up 3 jugs of wine and laughed. Madame Illusory Dream, this is a gift from your brother. It's called Meng Qing's Wine of Appreciation. The moment the wine was taken out, everyone was shocked. Meng Qing's Wine of Appreciation could nourish one's body and refine one's soul. The white-robed holy beast snorted coldly and sat down with gritted teeth. Madame Illusory Dream's eyes lit up for the first time. She smiled charmingly. Thank you, Heavenly Tiger King. When the dragon pool opens in a few days, Heavenly Tiger King can enjoy together. Hearing this, the tiger-faced man was pleasantly surprised. His eyes were filled with excitement. He cupped his fists and said, Thank you, madam. Seeing that this Heavenly Tiger King was favored, over 100 holy beasts began to present their gifts. Some of them were grade 8 saint artifacts, some were grade 8 natural treasures, and some were rare and precious saint artifacts. Some even presented handsome men and beautiful women. Lin Shen was dazzled by all of them. However, there were only a few who were qualified to be baptized in the dragon pool. When it was Jian Qingqing's turn, he presented a grade 1 saint pill. Madame Illusory Dream was very happy with him, and he was also selected to enter the dragon pool. Saint pills were so precious that even ordinary saints would not have the chance to use them, let alone holy beasts. Any saint pill was extremely tempting to holy beasts. In the end, all the holy beasts turned to look at him. He was the only one who did not present a gift. The holy beast who had transformed into a white-robed man sneered. "It seems like we have an unreasonable fellow here." Heavenly Tiger King shook his head and laughed. "Look at the mask on this fellow's face. It seems to be an item from the primordial era. I thought he was a noble, but I didn't expect him to be a pauper." The previous few holy beasts had only arrived recently. They did not know that Lin Shen was buying things in Purple Charm City. Many holy beasts were curious. Why did this heavenly sage silver dragon not present a gift? With his background, he could easily take out a few items to control the situation. Madame Illusory Dream frowned slightly. She looked slightly displeased. Lin Shen's voice echoed in the square. "Hee, madam, this one has prepared a big gift for you. Before I present the gift, I would like to ask madam a question." The holy beasts were stunned. There was a question in presenting a gift. Madame Illusory Dream raised her eyebrows and nodded. "And this friend, please speak." Lin Chen chuckled. "I wonder if madam has heard of the name of the human race's Black Horse Club, Lin Shen?" As soon as he said that, the holy beast's expressions changed. Some were puzzled, some were shocked, and some were shocked. The charming lady beside Madame Illusory Dream rushed to answer. I know. Isn't he the genius from the southern mountain range? I've heard that he used some external force to kill several fourth heaven true saints." Some of the holy beasts who had heard of Lin Shen for the first time couldn't help but be shocked. Kill a fourth heaven true saint? This was equivalent to the existence of some 8th order, mid-level primordial sacred beasts. Jian Qingqing was shocked by Huang Xiaolong's words. What is this fellow trying to do now? He even announced his real name. Chapter 1179. Lin Shen gave the lady in purple a thumbs up and said, "Princess, you are right. Furthermore, this person is a rank 8 alchemist. His skills are not to be underestimated." Following that, Heavenly Sage Silver Dragon laughed. "Furthermore, Lin Shen is a talented and handsome human. He is flirtatious but not lascivious. He is good in bed and has the heavens raising dragon spear. Not only can he concoct pills and set fires, but he can also forge weapons and predict fortunes. He is the most handsome human in the entire history of the sacred boundary." Jian Qingqing's mouth twitched. "Aren't you ashamed to say that?" The more the sacred beasts listened, the more confused they became. What does the genius of the human race, being a rank 8 alchemist, have to do with your gift? Why are you talking about such useless things? Madame Huanmeng looked at Lin Chen deeply, and her lips curled up slightly. Heavenly Saint Silver Dragon. What do you mean by this? Heavenly Sage Silver Dragon shrugged. Simple. Today, I want to give you a gift that you like the most. After that, Lin Shen waved his hand. Whoosh! A cage appeared, and shackles appeared. Space enchantments were set up, and hundreds of space talismans appeared. The sacred beasts looked at the cage and saw a handsome young man in a silver robe. There were 10 dim hexagonal stars on the young man's body. He looked sad, and there was despair and helplessness on his face. The lady in purple covered her red lips with her hands. Madame Huanmeng stood up, and her eyes lit up. All the saint beasts were dumbfounded, and their scalps went numb. Jian Qingqing's red lips opened slightly. The person locked in this cage was none other than Lin Shen. Jian Qingqing stared at Lin Shen in shock and blinked at the lady. Then Heavenly Sage Silver Dragon smiled and said, "This is my gift to you, madam. The limited edition best actor from the human race's Black Horse Club, Lin Shen." Jian Qingqing was dumbfounded. "I am giving myself a gift. There is such a thing? Mother, it is him. I've seen his portrait before. It's that peerless genius of a human race, Lin Shen." His aura is also exactly the same, matching the characteristics of the legends. The purple-dressed woman licked her red lips like a female wolf that had seen its prey. Madame Huanming could not help but sniff lightly. With an intoxicated expression, she murmured, "I can't be wrong. This is the pure scent of the heaven-raising dragon King Spear's owner. If the jade juice were to pour on it, the Dragon King would appear and become even stronger." Countless sacred beasts stared at the heavenly Saint Silver Dragon as if they were looking at a monster. The ferocious silver dragon mask was like an evil god that pierced into the hearts of the sacred beasts. Sky Tiger King and white-clothed young master, who had mocked him earlier, immediately shrunk their heads, not daring to say another word. F***CK. This brat is pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. I was almost tricked by him. As expected of a lost ancient noble, a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. It's said that this human genius has the ability to kill fourth heaven true saints. Since the silver dragon heavenly sage was able to capture him alive, doesn't that mean that his strength surpasses the fourth heaven true saint realm? How terrifying. You really hit it well. In the world of vicious beasts, strength was king. The heavenly saint silver dragon's strength had shocked all the sacred beasts present. Suppressing the wild joy in her heart, Madame Huanming said seriously, "Do you really want to give him to me? What are your conditions and objectives?" That's right, this brat's value wasn't something that could be determined by a chance to be cleansed in the Dragon Lake. His saint-ranked alchemy skills and his reputation as a blacksmith were more than enough to determine his terrifying value. In the ancient dragon tribes, there were even experts who kept human 8th Order alchemists to serve them. However, it was clear that the illusory heart dragon didn't have such a foundation. If they could obtain this brat, the illusory heart dragon tribe's foundation would rise exponentially. Hee, madam, your words are really straightforward. It's said that the illusory heart stone of your tribe can help your saint's spirit break through the inner demons in your heart, raising your spiritual realm to a whole new level. This one's heart has been plagued by inner demons for countless eras, and it can no longer bear the burden. With this brat's strength, it's not too much to exchange for the illusory heartstone of your tribe, right? Lin Chen chuckled. If he used himself as a bargaining chip, he might be able to exchange for the stone directly. This, Madame Huanming frowned. The illusory heartstone was a rare treasure that could only be obtained when a dragon above the 8th Order gave birth to a child. Currently, the strongest expert in their tribe was only at the mid-5th heaven true saint realm. This was their tribe's last remaining treasure. If they lost it forever, they wouldn't be able to help their descendants to break through to the 8th Order. My tribe doesn't have much illusory heartstone left, and I can't exchange it directly. Please change your bargaining chip. After thinking twice, Madame Huanming rejected the offer. Lin Chun sneered in his heart. As expected, he continued, "How about this? I'll only borrow the illusory heartstone of your tribe. With this brat's 10,000-year lifespan, it's not too much to borrow the illusory heartstone once, right? Right now, his life is in my hands. If I want to kill him, it'll only take a single thought." Madame Huanming fell silent again. After a while, she smiled and said, "If you only want to borrow it once, there's no problem. However, you have to hand this brat over to me first. Furthermore, I need to use the illusory heartstone to activate the dragon pool. I can only lend it to you after the dragon pool opens. How about it?" Lin Chen frowned. She still wants to delay? I'll give her my clone first. It'll be easier for me to move around with my clone by her side. Forget it. I'll F***CK her up. Lin Chen clapped his hands and pushed the cage over to Madame Huanming. All right, it's decided then. Madame Huanming waved her hand and grabbed the cage. She licked her lips seductively. Mother, the purple-dressed girl hugged Madame Huanming and said coquettishly. Madame Huanming couldn't help but laugh. I can't let you eat it first. Otherwise, this brat will become a jerk. Mother is still counting on him to refine medicine for us. Just once, the banquet continued, and Madame Huanming even summoned a group of handsome men and beautiful women to accompany the saint beasts. Some of the saint beasts had already unleashed their bestial instincts, and they started to fight for real. The Dragon Crown Prince left with his lover. After Madame Huanming exchanged some pleasantries with the saint beasts, she summoned the illusory heart dragon's Saint Realm Elder and hurriedly dragged Lin Chen's clone away from the cage. Within the White Jade Plaza, some of the unsightly scenes were extremely obscene. The beast race's bestial instincts were extremely strong, and so were their desires. At this moment, it had already turned into a meat feast. Regardless of gender, the wine that they were tasting was brewed with Saint Realm elixirs. Even the saints and saint beasts would be intoxicated by it. Lin Shun and Jian Qingsheng had already returned to their original seats. They pretended to wolf down the food and tactfully rejected the special service. While Jian Qingsheng was tasting the wine, he asked Lin Shun through telepathy, "Our targets have been separated. When are we going to act?" Lin Shun opened his silver dragon mask and chuckled as he took a few bites of the Jiao dragon's meat. "We'll act now. You do your thing, and I'll do mine." Jian Qingsheng rolled his eyes. "I'm going to kill people, and you're going to F asterisk CK people?" Chapter 1180. A bright light flashed beneath Madame Huanming's body, and the space around her started to crack. Chi! Boom! The space around the four palaces trembled, and the barrier around them disappeared. An island appeared in the void, and there was a huge golden dragon lake within it. Lin Chen's clone narrowed his eyes. The dragon lake was filled with high-grade spiritual energy balls. With so many spiritual energy balls, I should be able to increase my spiritual energy by at least 1,000,000 points. Who knows, there might even be more. Lin Chen's clone saw everything clearly, and he was overjoyed. However, the doppelganger's eyes discovered a place where the elemental light was even brighter. Above the golden dragon pool, there was actually a small dragon pool. There's another one above the dragon lake, and it's even brighter. Lin Chen's heart skipped a beat. Madame Huanming hugged the young man and threw him into the dragon lake, causing a huge splash. Host has received 2,882 high-grade spiritual energy, 1,820 spiritual energy. A large amount of spiritual energy balls entered the clone's body. Space rippled, and little shadow covered Lin Chen's aura. He had left the holy dragon in the hall, and he had used the opportunity when Madame Huanming opened the dragon lake to sneak in. "You? What are you trying to do?" The young man was afraid as he unbuttoned his clothes, revealing his chest muscles. Madame Huanming chuckled. "This old lady likes honest young men like you. Inside the dragon lake, your spiritual energy will be stimulated to the most sensitive state. When you're in bed, the stimulation will be 10 times more intense. This is the first time this old lady has encountered the heaven-raising Dragon King spear. If you can cultivate this old lady's dual cultivation technique successfully, your cultivation might reach a whole new level. Don't disappoint this old lady. She wasn't afraid of Lin Chen at all. With her strength, she wasn't even afraid of early Fifth Heaven True Saints. Why would she be afraid of First Heaven True Saint without any holy energy? Young man of the human race, look into this old lady's eyes. Madame Huanming's eyes suddenly turned purple, causing Lin Chen's doppelganger to fall into a seductive demonic voice. His mind felt as if it had sunk into an extremely comfortable ocean, as if he was in paradise. His mind began to slacken, and his mind began to sink into oblivion. This little guy's spiritual power attainments are quite high. He really is an 8th rank alchemist, and not an ordinary 1st rank alchemist. He is at least a 2nd or 3rd rank alchemist. This time, I have picked up a treasure. Madame Huanming was overjoyed and continued to increase her strength. In less than a quarter of an hour, the doppelganger's consciousness had completely sunk. Lin Chen seemed to have cut off his connection with the doppelganger. What a terrifying mental bewitching technique. My spiritual realm isn't low, but in a short period of time, I was completely controlled by her. Lin Chen's heart skipped a beat. If they were to fight head-on, even if he were to use the Ares Vambrace, his opponent might not given the chance to do so. However, If Lin Shan wanted to gain control of the doppelganger, he only needed to expend a bit of the rune's energy to regain control of the doppelganger. Madame Huanmeng lay down beside the dragon lake and said lazily, "Young man of the human race, quickly give this old lady a massage." She wanted to train this young man well, so that he would be of use to her. The doppelganger walked over and started to massage Madame Huanmeng's legs. He even used his spiritual power to caress her legs, making her feel even more comfortable. The spiritual aura in the doppelganger's eyes did not disappear. This kind of mental control was extremely profound, and it was a unique technique of the illusionary heart dragon. It did not cause the person under its control to lose their consciousness. Seeing this scene, Lin Shun did not have the time to appreciate it. Sneak attack now? The flesh of a dragon race is already very strong. I'm afraid that if the Ares Vambrace is not able to kill her, it would be bad. Let's take the attribute light balls first. Lin Shun and Little Shadow rushed up to the dragon lake. Seeing the scene in front of him, Lin Shun sucked in a breath of cold air. The dragon pool was filled with densely packed elemental light balls that piled up into mountains. The number of attribute light balls here was more than 10 times that of the dragon lake below. With this batch of attribute light balls, there was hope for him to break through to the middle stage of the Saint Realm. Let's hurry up and take the attribute light balls here. Lin Shun asked Little Shadow to go to the top of the dragon lake. Before he entered the dragon lake, Lin Shun only absorbed the attribute light balls above the dragon lake. Received 11,023 points of high-grade mental energy, 8,010 points of high-grade mental energy. Lin Shin's 3 doppelgangers and his main body in Qing Shui's plant pouch were refining the high-grade mental energy together. The mental starry sky in his spiritual sea began to quietly expand and change. It was as if a new galaxy had opened up in the universe. The starlight that belonged to the mental energy continued to increase. Madame Huanmeng did not know that someone had already infiltrated the most important forbidden area of the illusionary heart dragon clan. She was still enjoying the young man's massage. On the other side, Jian Qingsheng took the opportunity to return to the dragon lake and immediately consumed a saint pill to eliminate his aura after leaving the White Jade Square. She and one of Lin Shin's doppelgangers moved together and headed to the Southern Palace. Southern Palace, top floor of the Purple Heavens Pavilion. Bestial roars could be heard one after another, shaking the top floor of the Purple Heavens Pavilion. Inside the room, the Heavenly Dragon Clan's Huan Wu Xian was enjoying a female slave given to him by another saint beast. Jian Qingsheng made a hand gesture, and the doppelganger nodded. The two of them entered the room together. The doppelganger instantly opened a spatial barrier in the room and cast a slow rune with 5,000 rune energy. The space around him froze, and the naked Huan Wu Xian was shocked. Seeing that his movement was slowed down, he immediately shot out a mental attack. "You're courting death by sneaking in here." Just as he was about to return his main body, Lin Shin's doppelganger shot out a beam of mental energy from between his eyebrows and shattered Huan Wu Xian's mental attack. The doppelganger's 7 ultimate pulling force burst out from his palm and pulled Huan Wu Xian towards him. Huan Wu Xian's dragon skin was peeled off by the pure strength. Clang! A cold light flashed, and Jian Qingsheng unsheathed his sword. Like a flash of moonlight in the dark night, it went straight for Huan Wu Xian's forehead. Clang! The ear-piercing sound of dragon scales breaking could be heard. Huan Wu Xian's dragon armor had saved his life. He let out a dragon roar and broke through the slow rune. Jian Qingsheng's expression changed slightly. This guy was going to call for help. Just as Huan Wu Xian was about to send out a signal to counterattack, the doppelganger's 7 ultimate pulling force slammed down on his head. Chi! Boom! Dragon blood splattered everywhere. Huan Wu Xian was smashed into pieces and died with his eyes wide open. The female slave fainted from shock. Jian Qingsheng was stunned. "Lin Shen, how long has it been? Why is your body refining power so strong that it's like a monster?" The doppelganger shrugged. "Haven't you heard that handsome people cultivate faster? Jian Qingsheng was speechless. Thinking back to when they were still battle emperors, they were able to fight to a draw in the tomb of the Sage King. Now that he had become a sage, he was left far behind. Jian Qingsheng couldn't help but laugh bitterly. After Huan Wu Xian died, he dropped dozens of attribute light balls and a 5-light supreme treasure chest. Lin Shen took them all. The beast core went to Lin Shen, and the dragon head went to Jian Qingsheng. Opened 5-light supreme treasure chest. Obtained 2nd grade sacred weapon, Phantom Blade. Lin Shen was shocked. This was a rare spiritual type 2nd grade sacred weapon. Chapter 1181. The Dragon Race's crown prince really dropped something good. Normally, Saint Beasts won't drop treasures like this. Bloodlines really do have a lot of potential. If I kill a few more Saint-level Dragon Race princes and princesses, will there be treasures everywhere? He dripped his blood on the phantom flying dagger, which had recognized its owner, and the dagger's body was as light as a snowflake. Purple dragon patterns wrapped around the dagger, and when Lin Shen's clone held in his hand, Jian Qingsheng felt as though he was in a trance, and his mind was shaken. Once this dagger slashed out, it would be able to confuse the opponent's mind. Life and death were only a hair's breadth away. Lin Shen's vanishing shadow flying dagger was a combination of saint power, pure strength, and mental power. This dagger could bring Lin Shen's flying dagger technique to another level. Jian Qingsheng took Huan Wuxin's dragon head and split the items in Huan Wuxin's storage ring equally with Lin Shen. What's this? The clone found a dragon claw and a letter in the storage ring. The clone opened the letter, and his pupils trembled. The 10,000 Dragons Conference. All dragons below the desolate ancient dragon race can participate. All dragons who can go to the Divine Dragon Ruins and receive guidance from the Divine Dragon Totems. They can also be baptized by the Dragon Chi in the Dragon Tomb. There are no restrictions on the participation of the dragon race, and all 8th-level sacred beasts of their respective races can participate. The Divine Dragon Totems in the Divine Dragon Ruins are Myriad Fire Divine Dragon, Extreme Hell Water Divine Dragon, Heavenly Mountain Prison Suppressing Dragon, 9 Underworld Yellow Springs Dragon, Burial Shadow Illusory Dragon, Extreme K Thunder Divine Dragon, Wind God Winged Dragon, Great Dark Sky Dragon, Yin Yang Creation Divine Dragon, Dragon Tomb, Ancient Time Dragon, Ancient Taishi Dragon, Crouching Sky Dragon, Chi Dragon Monument, Shining Dragon Monument, the Ancient Taishi Dragon Tomb. Within the 10,000 Dragons Assembly, there were relics of the legendary Divine Dragons, as well as the desolate ancient Dragon Tomb of the Dragon Clan. I must participate in this conference. I have 3 Ancient Taishi Dragon Divine Dragon Blood Jades. As long as I get the Ancient Taishi Dragon's bloodline attribute, I can activate them. The clone communicated with the main body, but the only thing Lin Shen lacked was a member of his race. More accurately, he was a member of the Orthodox Dragon race. He was alone, so he had to participate in the 10,000 Dragons Conference with his entire race. You have to join a dragon clan to participate in the 10,000 Dragons Assembly. The clone put away the primordial dragon horn and the letter. The doppelganger patted Jian Qingsheng's shoulder. Restrain your aura. We're going for the main event. Next, the clone used super-dimensional teleportation. Whoosh! With a flash of spatial light, Jian Qingsheng landed in the dragon pool. Jian Qingsheng exclaimed. When she arrived, Little Dark Shadow stretched out a claw from the void and shrouded her aura. Ever since Little Shadow went into seclusion, he was able to bring many people into the void without being discovered. Jian Qingsheng covered her red lips with her hand. She could clearly see that Lin Shen's spiritual energy pressure was far beyond that of an early Saint Rudiment stage cultivator. Intermediate Saint Rudiment stage mental energy. Suddenly, Lin Shen opened his eyes. The terrifying spiritual pressure caused the spatial rift to tremble. His advanced spiritual power value skyrocketed to 100 million points. Just the value alone was 20 times higher than before. He was ridiculously strong. Lin Chun exhaled. His spiritual power showed signs of shattering the heavens and earth. My spiritual power is much stronger than my pure strength and Saint Chi cultivation. I wonder if I can arm wrestle with an expand stage cultivator. The difference between Saint Rudiment stage mental energy was like heaven and earth. They were not on the same level. With your growth speed, I even suspect that you are the reincarnation of a god. Lin Chun, who are you? Jian Qingcheng stared at him in shock. He chuckled and said, Luck, it's all luck. What's the situation down there? Down there? Jian Qingcheng looked down. Then Jian Qingcheng was stunned for a moment before spitting out a mouthful of saliva. The dragon pool below echoed with a low groan of bliss. It was Madame Huanming. This guy's clone was massaging Madame Huanming. Lin Chen rubbed his chin and said seriously, What a good figure. Jian Qingcheng rolled his eyes, the river rumbled, and the beautiful woman frowned. Huh! An 8-colored exquisite crystal was thrown out and rolled to the ground. Women like Jian Qingcheng, who was obsessed with swordsmanship and knew nothing about relationships between men and women, were dumbfounded. Madame Huanming spat out the enchanted stone. Jian Qingcheng's red lips opened slightly. Could it be that Lin Chen knew that the stone was in Madame Huanming's body from the beginning? How did he know? In the dragon pool below, Madame Huanming's eyes were burning with lust again. Her seductive appearance was like a beautiful snake in spring. What a terrible guy. You even know how to use your spiritual power to massage me. I couldn't help but spit out the enchanted stone. I want you for the whole night. Madame Huanming waved her hand, and the enchanted stone flew back to her. Now was the time. Lin Chen's eyes lit up, and he activated the illusory rune again. The moment the clone's eyes regained their clarity, he reached out his hand and grabbed the enchanted stone. Huh! With a squeeze of his palm, the enchanted stone broke into pieces. At the same time, the clone gathered all his strength and activated his heart sutra. All his saint acupuncture points shone brightly, and his saint power stacked with 1 billion dragon power points slammed into Madame Huanming's snow wave. Bang! Madame Huanming was sent flying by a single punch. It happened so suddenly that Madame Huanming could not react in time. She had absolute confidence in her seduction theurgy. Anyone who was hit by her seduction theurgy would not be able to escape. In addition, she had just entered nirvana and was relaxed, allowing Lin Chen's clone to launch a sneak attack on her. The clone waved his hand and smiled evilly. Nice touch. Swoosh. With a flash of light, the clone used super-dimensional teleportation and teleported to another location. What? Madame Huanming regained her senses and was so angry that her body trembled. Escaped? This kid actually broke free from the shackles in an instant, and even traveled through the void here? Wasn't his saint acupuncture points depleted? Where did he get the energy from? The condition of Lin Chen's clone was beyond Madame Huanming's expectation. She had never seen a technique that could replenish one's saint power in an instant. Madame Huanming raised her hand and tore open the void dimension, leaving the dragon lake. Lin Chen immediately took action and kept the spirit attribute light orb in the dragon lake. He then turned to Jian Qingcheng and said, You enter the dragon lake and use the time to cleanse your spirit. I will buy you some time. Once you are discovered, one of my clones will come and take you away. Jian Qingcheng nodded slightly and leaped into the dragon lake. Her spirit was only one step away from divine transcendence. If she could obtain this opportunity, she would definitely be able to achieve great things. Madame Huanming teleported back to the white jade square. Where is Heavenly Saint Silver Dragon? Madame Huanming questioned the elder in the square. Madam, he is waiting for you in the main hall together with the red plum lady. When the elder reported, Madame Huanming's expression changed drastically. Oh no, I just returned from the main hall, but he is not there. Madame Huanming took out a jade scroll from her storage ring and was about to inform her clan when she realized that Huan Wuxin's dragon seal had been shattered. Wuxin is dead? Quick, let's go to the Purple Dragon Pavilion. Heavenly Saint Silver Dragon, Lin Chun. The illusory Hard Dragon clan will tear you into pieces. Angry roars tore through the sky. That night, the illusory Hard Dragon clan was in chaos. Chapter 1182. Lin Chen's Holy Dragon, the Heavenly Sage Silver Dragon, had already left. According to the rules, even if he borrowed the illusory enchantment stone, he had to use it within the territory of the illusory enchantment dragon clan. In other words, he could only use it under Madame Huan Meng's supervision. It was much riskier to wait until the stone was destroyed before retreating. Madame Huan Meng had been chasing geese all day, only to be pecked in the eye by the geese. Never in her wildest dreams would she have imagined that a first heaven-true Saint Realm human would be able to crush him to death with a single finger when he was afflicted by her illusory charm art. Not to mention a first heaven-true Saint Realm. Even a fourth heaven-true Saint Realm expert would be a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. However, such a weak existence like Lin Chun had actually destroyed the most important item of her clan, the Stone of Enchantment. Madame Huan Meng was furious, but her heart was filled with shock. What was the relationship between this brat and the heavenly sage Silver Dragon? How did they know that the illusory enchantment stone was in her body? She had thought that it was the most foolproof method to protect the illusory enchantment stone, but it had been discovered by a puny human. On the other side, Lin Chen's main body was teleported to where his doppelgangers were. In a desolate mountain, Lin Chen met up with his doppelgangers. Lin Chun kept the illusory enchantment stone fragment in his doppelganger's hand. This item could be exchanged for a mid-grade spiritual plant seed from Fairy Scarlet. It was extremely valuable. Before he could rejoice, a soft and enchanting voice reverberated in the air. Just like the rumors say, you're an expert in doppelganger techniques. Rumble. A spiritual barrier appeared, and Lin Chen's heart sank. A graceful figure in a purple dress stepped out from the void. It was the princess of the illusory enchantment dragon clan. It was as though she had set up a spiritual barrier in advance, waiting for Lin Chun to take the bait. Oh, since the princess knows about me, why didn't you report it to Madame Huan Meng? Lin Chun tightened his grip on the phoenix spear and narrowed his eyes. I don't care about the inheritance of my clan. I've been stuck at a bottleneck for many years, and there are countless geniuses who pay attention to the human race. I've been paying attention to your news for a long time. If I can suck your Dragon King spear dry, I might be able to reach a higher level. However, if you fall into my mother's hands, I won't get a share. I've never been interested in the inheritance of my clan. The Dragon Princess's Dragon Clan's Dragon Spear and Dragon Claw, a purple light Dragon Claw, pointed Dragon Claw pointed to Lin. Lin Chun brandished the Dark Phoenix spear and activated the power of the gold-type Odd Crystal. Countless spear lights and dragon shadows surrounded Lin Chun like a group of dancing dragons, crashing into the purple light Dragon Claw. Bang! 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 The Dragon Claw exploded, and Lin Chun was pushed back for dozens of steps. Every step he took shattered the space crystal wall, and the heaven-controlling Gungjin Shi around his body was shattered. Chu Li Dragon Claw. This dragon princess was several levels stronger than Huan Wuxin, and they were at least tens of thousands of years apart in age. This dragon princess's pure strength is close to 8 billion dragon power points, and her casual attack is comparable to a third-rank perfect Saint Realm. I don't have time to fight with her, and it'll be too late if Madame Huan Meng comes out. I'll end this quickly. Lin Chen put away his phoenix spear. Dance of the True Dragon was suitable for prolonged battles, not explosive ones. Chu Feng's doppelganger drew his blade and slashed at the dragon princess with Mirror Moon Imperial God. The dragon princess closed her fingers and opened her mouth to condense a purple dragon breath. She spat it out, and the dragon breath exploded, forming a purple storm that swept through the sky. Chu Feng's doppelganger and Lin Chen retreated again with dragon dodge. She smirked. "You're much stronger than the rumors say. I know you have other doppelgangers. Use them all." Rip! As the flying dagger spun at high speed, it unexpectedly cut through the dragon princess' draconic chi protection and headed straight for her forehead. She, who had been doing this with ease, finally became serious. Wong. Princess Huanming's consciousness paused for a split second as her consciousness fell into a trance. Clang! A snowy blade of wind knocked her to the ground, and her left arm turned into a dragon claw, forcefully blocking the attack. The flying dagger bounced back into the doppelganger's hand. It was Lin Chen's newly obtained saint weapon, the Phantom. Taking advantage of this gap, Chu Feng's second doppelganger gripped the Azure Moon Imperial God and pulled out another dagger. The rapidly spinning blade of wind split into 5, exploding when it was 1,000 feet away from Princess Huanming. The blade fragments that filled the sky shot out like a rain of flowers. Princess Huanming's pupils shrank. Lin Chen's strength had far exceeded her expectations. Pung, 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 pung. The blade fragments that contained pure strength, saint chi, and spiritual chi slammed into Princess Huanming's body. She gritted her teeth and did not dare to reveal her true form. The larger her body was, the more she would be at a disadvantage against Lin Chen's attack. After Lin Chen's breakthrough in spiritual chi, the power of God's tears had increased tremendously. Even Princess Huanming, who was proficient in spiritual chi, could not withstand it. Annihilation. Chu Feng's doppelganger formed a seal with both hands, and a blue beam of spiritual chi shot out from between her brows, splitting into 5. Princess Huanming, whose defense had been broken, was finally shocked. She twisted her body and revealed her true form. She flapped her wings, and a pink mist swept out like a hurricane, colliding with Lin Chen's annihilation. Pung! The spiritual chi storm shattered Princess Huanming's spiritual chi barrier, and the battle between the two could no longer be concealed. In the palace behind Purple Charm City, Lady Huanming instantly felt the power of the battle. That aura, it's Lin Chen. Lady Huanming spread her dragon wings and disappeared into the void, her speed terrifyingly fast. Boom! Princess Huanming's body was pushed back. This was the first time Lin Chen had seen the true form of the illusionary heart dragon. The dragon's scales were beautiful, and it was a dreamy, deep purple. Its 4 claws were thick and strong, and its wings were purple with a hint of pink. There was also a patch of purplish-red scales on its head. Chi, a red flaming dragon, appeared above Lin Chen's head. It was formed purely from spiritual chi. Roar! The flaming dragon roared into the sky, and a terrifying spiritual chi sound wave swept past like a hurricane. The nearby mountains were blasted into dust, and the ground cracked. The crystal walls within a few hundred miles were filled with cracks. Orange-grade ultimate technique. 8 divisions, celestial, flaming dragon roar. A true dragon's roar shook heaven and earth, and a roar could shatter mountains and rivers. The sound wave caused the dragon's body to tremble. Ah! Princess Huanming let out a shrill cry, and her dragon body rolled on the ground. The ground was crushed, and her spiritual chi was damaged. The series of attacks from Lin Chen and his doppelgangers had caught her off guard. Even if her strength was higher than the average Third Heaven True Saint, she was still no match for them. Suddenly, Lin Chen felt a bone-chilling sense of danger. It was as if his spiritual chi had been locked onto by some existence. Lady Huanming is coming. I don't have time to kill this dragon princess. Lin Chen did not hesitate. He used the innate shadow art and tore through the void with his doppelgangers in 3 different directions. Whoosh! After 2 breaths, a shadow appeared. Lady Huanming appeared. She looked at the void and then looked at her daughter. She gritted her teeth and said in disappointment, If you had reported to me immediately when you found this kid, would this have happened? Chapter 1183. At the same time, Madame Huan Ming channeled a wisp of dragon breath and spiritual power into her daughter's body to heal her injuries. Princess Huan Ming's dragon body rolled around in pain. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Many of the elders of the illusionary hard dragon tribe moved out and were about to seal off the nearby area. Boom, clang. The pure sound of a sword reverberated throughout the illusionary heart dragon's territory. The sound of the sword reverberated through the air, and it contained the aura of a spiritual power breakthrough. The expressions of the elders who were chasing after Lin Chun changed slightly. That's the Dragon Lake. Didn't Madame seal off the Dragon Lake when she came out? Why is there still a living being in the Dragon Lake? And it seems to be a human. The elders were forced to retreat, and Madame Huan Ming's expression suddenly calmed down. Even the Dragon Lake has been infiltrated. What a great trick. This matter is not so simple. Heavenly Holy Silver Dragon, Lin Chun. A cold light flashed across Madame Huan Ming's eyes. This was the first time she had been humiliated like this. Whoosh! Lin Chun and Jian Qingsheng descended into the canyon. His holy dragon was also teleported here. Lin Chun wiped the sweat off his forehead. You're fast. What a great world. Lin Chun, thank you. Jian Qingsheng looked at him sincerely. If it weren't for you, my mission would have been 10 times more difficult, and my spiritual power would not have been able to improve. Lin Chun shrugged. If you had done it yourself, it would have been more difficult, but who knows, you might have been able to make a breakthrough in the face of adversity. No one knows if I'm helping you in your hour of need or helping you in your hour of need. Jian Qingsheng chuckled. How could it be so easy to make a breakthrough in the face of adversity? I'm not the kind of person who doesn't know how to repay someone's kindness. If you encounter any trouble in the sword realm in the future, you can come find me at the Divine Sword Sect. She handed a bright red sword to Lin Chun, and Lin Chun put it away in his storage ring. What do you plan to do next? Jian Qingsheng asked. Lin Chun replied, time is of the essence. I have to participate in the 10,000 Dragons gathering. The beautiful woman frowned. The 10,000 Dragons Conference is one of the Dragon Clan's greatest feasts. Some of the more powerful Dragon Crown Princes and Dragon Princesses will appear. Some of the Crown Princes and Princesses are comparable to those on the Demon Geniuses list. Besides, how are you going to participate by yourself? This is a ceremony that only an entire race can participate in, right? Lin Chun shook his head. I don't know yet. I have to participate. Jian Qingsheng asked softly, do you need my help? Lin Chun glanced at her. That won't do. Your beastly aura disguise is perfect, but you'll be exposed as soon as you attack. Jian Qingsheng pondered for a moment and nodded slightly. It seems that we have to part ways here. Lin Chun teased, what? You can't bear to part with this handsome guy? Jian Qingsheng stared at him seriously. You don't die. The 10,000 Dragons Guild is no small matter. Lin Chun was stunned for a moment before nodding with a smile. The two of them high-fived each other and parted ways. At this moment, Little Shadow appeared and burped. Lin Chun was stunned. Little guy, what did you eat? Are you full? Words appeared above Little Shadow's head, sucking the dragon pond dry. Lin Chun's lips twitched. This little guy sucked the dragon pond dry. Perhaps the illusory enchanted dragon clan was already in chaos. 3 days later, at the Dragon Guarding Pass in the Great Desolate Land. This was the territory of the Azure Dragon Clan. The Azure Dragon Clan had once had a divine dragon, but after countless eras, they had become the weakest of the Dragon Clan. Within a secret room in the Dragon Pass, 5 figures surrounded by dense dragon aura sat. That damned Red Lotus Flaming Dragon Clan, they actually tricked us into giving them the ancient dragon horn. Without the ancient dragon horn, you don't have the right to participate in the 10,000 Dragons Guild. Sigh, do you really want our Azure Dragon Clan to perish? The 10,000 Dragons Guild is our only chance to turn the tables. The old Dragon King has died, and the ancient dragon horn is gone. We've lost our only chance. The most talented member of our clan is the young Miss, but we don't have the chance to participate in the Dragon Horn Banquet. So how can we obtain the ancient dragon horn? 4 of the 5 sighed, their eyes filled with helplessness and loneliness. Father gave the Azure Dragon clan to me. Even if I die, I won't give it up. I'll go beg the Council of Elders again. The graceful beauty was wearing dragon armor, looking valiant and formidable. Her lips were tightly pursed, and her hair was like a waterfall. Her jade face was cold, and her lips were red. Her beautiful azure dragon eyes were like precious gems, and her eyebrows revealed her unwillingness. Sigh, young miss, those old fellows at the Council of Elders have long since looked down on our Azure Dragon clan. Why don't you consider that? An old man with white eyebrows suggested. The dragon-armored woman clenched her teeth. You want me to serve the crown prince of the prison-suppressing dragon clan? I'm the future successor of the Azure Dragon King. You want me to be a maid of another dragon? Where's the pride of our Azure Dragon clan? What pride does the Azure Dragon clan have now? They're just struggling at death's door. Another elder shook his head and stood up. This old man announces that we're officially leaving the Azure Dragon clan. What? The dragon-armored woman stood up and angrily slammed the table. 7th elder, you dare to betray the clan? Betray the clan? Look at the future of the Azure Dragon clan. There are only 10 or so holy dragons. If it weren't for the name of the dragon clan, we would have been destroyed by other forces long ago. That elder flicked his sleeves and sneered. He turned and left. The dragon-armored woman wanted to chase after him, but suddenly there was a tremor. Rumble. A spatial crack appeared right above the dragon guarding pass. The expressions of the elders of the Azure Dragon clan changed slightly, and they hurriedly stood up to welcome him. He's here. A golden road appeared from the spatial crack. A dragon chariot rolled down, and 9 thick armored dragons appeared. Their entire bodies were black and yellow, and they pulled the dragon chariot down to the dragon guarding pass. Ha ha! This is the Azure Dragon clan's dragon guarding pass? Trash, too trash. Only the most central dragon palace can let this crown prince rest. Quickly call your Mu Tianqing out to serve this crown prince. Extremely arrogant laughter came from within the dragon chariot. The elders of the Azure Dragon clan rushed to the walls of the dragon guarding pass and knelt down on one knee. Welcome, Crown Prince Tianyu. The 9 black and yellow dragons quickly transformed into human forms. There were males and females, and they knelt down in 2 rows. A tall young man in a yellow robe walked out of the dragon chariot. His dragon-like dragon breath covered his entire body. His face was chiseled, and his head was held high, as if he was born to be superior, like a king. Rumor has it that your Azure Dragon clan has a talented person called Mu Tianqing in recent years. Quickly call her out. The yellow-robed young man waved his hand, and the elders of the Azure Dragon clan trembled in fear. Mu Tianqing is here. Crown Prince, please don't make things difficult for the Azure Dragon clan. The green-eyed dragon-armored woman walked to the walls of the Dragon Pass and looked straight at the Crown Prince. The yellow-robed Crown Prince stared at her. After a moment, he smiled playfully. Not bad indeed. It's just that the aura of the Trash Dragon clan is too strong. Qianhong, bring her to bathe tomorrow night. Yes. One of the 9 dragons, Qianhong, who had transformed into human form, received the order. There was a hint of jealousy in her eyes as she looked at Mu Tianqing. Mu Tianqing's brows furrowed. She suppressed her anger and said seriously, Crown Prince, I haven't agreed to sleep with you. The yellow-robed young man ignored her. He stepped into the air and waved his hand. Cut the crap. If I don't see you in the Dragon Palace tomorrow night, the Azure Dragon clan will disappear from the vast wilderness in 2 days. Chapter 1184. Mu Tianqing's pretty face turned slightly pale, and all the green dragon elders were horrified. Domineering, simply domineering to the extreme, exterminating the entire clan while laughing. In the dragon race, the hierarchy was very clear. Primordial dragon race, primordial dragon race, primordial dragon race, and desolate dragon race. This dragon crown prince came from the primordial dragon race, the Tianyue prison dragon race. His strength and status were terrifying. He was here to participate in the 10,000 Dragons Conference and was just resting for a while. Even so, he could still decide the fate of a dragon race while laughing. If the green dragon race's status was slightly better, they wouldn't be in such a sorry state. The current green dragon race was already at the lowest level of the dragon race. Even if they were exterminated, with his status as the primordial dragon race's crown prince, he would at most be reprimanded by the higher-ups. Mu Tianqing gritted her teeth. Just as she was about to chase after the dragon crown prince and negotiate with him, a jade-white palm suddenly slapped over. Smack! Boom! The crisp sound of a slap echoed, and a hurricane raged. That dragon servant Qian Hong slapped Mu Tianqing with so much force that Mu Tianqing fell to the ground. Mu Tianqing's lips were bleeding, and her green eyes were burning with anger. The green dragon elders hurriedly said, "Young mistress, you can't fight. The other party is from the primordial dragon race." Mu Tianqing was stunned. Her sister's smiling face flashed across her mind, and she clenched her fists. Qian Hong sneered. "Shameless thing. It's your honor that the crown prince likes you. Are you still trying to pretend to be an ice beauty in front of the crown prince?" With that, she grabbed Mu Tianqing's long hair and dragged her all the way from the city wall. The elders of the Azure Dragon tribe wanted to move, but the 4 dragon servants blocked in front of them, forcefully suppressing the Azure Dragon tribe elders. Qian Hong came to the edge of the city wall and threw Mu Tianqing down the city wall. Bang! Boom! The foundation collapsed, and dust flew everywhere. A python-like crack appeared in a radius of dozens of miles, and Mu Tianqing was thrown into the blade forest that was used as a defense under the city wall. Although Mu Tianqing had dragon aura protecting her body, she still vomited blood from the impact. Her body was pierced by the blade forest, and blood flowed down her smooth skin. Mu Tianqing bit her red lips, and her body trembled. But she still couldn't fight back. For the sake of his clansmen, for his sister, and for his father's wish to revitalize the Azure Dragon tribe, he had to endure. Even if it was a knife, he had to endure and swallow it into his stomach. If it weren't for the fear of ruining the crown prince's mood, I would really want to cut off your little face. When I come to pick you up tomorrow night, don't let me see your face again. Qian Hong clapped her hands as if venting her anger. Then she waved her hand, and a few dragon servants lifted the dragon chariot to the center of the dragon palace. After the people of the primordial dragon tribe left, the elders quickly flew to the bottom of the city wall. Mu Tianqing stood up with tears in her eyes as she wiped the blood off her forehead. Tianqing, sigh. An elder wanted to say something, but hesitated. Tianqing, for the sake of the Azure Dragon tribe, you should follow this crown prince. Who knows, you might even be able to use this opportunity to latch onto his thigh. That's right. If we can get the crown prince's recognition, it might be an opportunity for our Azure Dragon tribe. Mu Tianqing looked miserable. Heh, I'm not a greenhorn. There was no chance of latching onto his thigh. To the crown prince, no matter how beautiful she was just a plaything. Within the dragon tribe, bloodline was paramount. Only female dragons with powerful bloodlines could catch the attention of the top prodigies of the dragon tribe. With Mu Tianqing's third-grade bloodline talent, the crown prince would look down on her. In other words, she was at best a plaything. He would throw her away after playing with her. If she refused, her tribe would be exterminated. There was no room for negotiation. For the sake of the Azure Dragon tribe, I will go. Elders, you don't have to worry. Mu Tianqing was completely disheartened. Her cold and beautiful face was somewhat numb and despairing. She staggered into the air and flew up. A few elders who still had a conscience shook their heads and sighed. Sigh. Miss has been working hard for the Azure Dragon tribe since she came of age. She doesn't even have a husband. I didn't expect it to end like this. Does the heavens really want our Azure Dragon tribe to die? Azure Dragon City was the largest main city of the Azure Dragon tribe. Swoosh, swoosh, bang, bang, bang. The auras of the three youths soared as they threw dozens of stones at the little girl in colorful clothes. Every stone emitted a tearing sound like a sonic boom, destroying the billowing airflow. The little girl in colorful clothes was covered in dense green light. She barely caught the stones, but was forced back by the aftershock of the power. Is this the trash of the Azure Dragon tribe? So weak. You are a loser, and your sister is also a loser. She will have to sleep with the crown prince tonight. The three youths laughed loudly. Their laughter was full of mockery and disdain. You are not allowed to talk about my sister. The little girl in colorful clothes, eyes flashed with dragon light. She pulled out an afterimage and rushed toward the three of them. Bang! The two youths knocked the little girl in colorful clothes away with their knees and punched her repeatedly. Rip! A dragon force swept up and blasted the three barbaric youths into the sky. Where did this little brat come from? She's so noisy. A silver-robed figure wearing a silver dragon mask patted the dust on his shoulder and casually pulled the little girl up. Brother, you are so powerful. The little girl in colorful clothes looked at him with admiration. You can also be so powerful. That person gently tapped the little girl's snow-white forehead. Boom, boom, boom. A power that originated from the bloodline rose steadily, and the little girl's aura skyrocketed several times. Selected target's bloodline has been strengthened to +12. Strengthening points consumed, 20,000. Overall increase, 170%. This person was Lin Shun, who was passing by the Azure Dragon City. He saw that this little girl was being bullied and casually gave her a good opportunity. Brother, the little girl in colorful clothes was a little confused and excited. Lin Shun shrugged and said with a teasing smile, you can't just keep silent when you're being bullied, right? If anyone bullies you in the future, just beat them up. Life and death are nothing. If you're not convinced, just do it. A person lives on a breath, and a dragon fights for an inch of bone. If you don't have this bit of pride, no one can save you. After that, Lin Shun pointed at the three dragon-horned youths who had just fallen to the ground. The little girl in colorful clothes, eyes flashed. A dragon fights for an inch of bone. Brother, I understand. Boom! A powerful green dragon shadow erupted from the top of the little girl's head. Like a fierce little tigress, she aggressively pounced over. The strength of her aura caused the three youths' expressions to change drastically. How did she become so strong? Wah! I was wrong. I shouldn't have scolded the Azure Dragon tribe. Don't hit my face. My root. Don't kick there, you can't, mate. Lin Shun no longer paid attention to this child's fight. He strolled around the Azure Dragon City and fell into deep thought. I've heard so much about the Dragon Tribe, and almost none of them invite outsiders to the 10,000 Dragons Conference. How can I enter the 10,000 Dragons Conference? I can't participate alone, and I don't have much time left. There are only 7 days until the 10,000 Dragons Conference. Where can I go to join the other dragon tribes? Just as Lin Shun was vexed, his calf was suddenly hugged by a soft jade. Chapter 1185. Lin Shun looked down to discover that it was the little girl in the colorful robe who was covered in dust. She hugged his thigh as her gem-like eyes flashed. Her pure smile was like a vibrant flower as she said with elation, "Thank you, Big Brother. I don't know how Schwer became so powerful, but it must have been because of Big Brother." Lin Shun patted her head with a resigned expression. You won't always have someone to help you. You'll have to rely on yourself in the future. Big Brother still has things to do, so I won't play with you anymore. For was reluctant to part with him. Big Brother, are you leaving? Schwer still wants to repay Big Brother. Schwer's sister is the future Dragon Queen of the Azure Dragon Tribe. Schwer seemed to have thought of something sad as she began to cry again. Lin Shun had no choice but to pick her up in his arms. Wah, Big Brother, you're so powerful. If only you were a member of our tribe. After Father died, our Azure Dragon Tribe didn't have a king. Gulong Jiao was tricked by the Crimson Dragon Tribe and couldn't participate in the Myriad Dragon Conference. Big Sister has to serve that stinky crown prince tonight. Big sister never gets close to men, so she must be doing this for all of us. The little girl's tears were stained with tears. Lin Chun could only shake his head lightly. He didn't have time to meddle in other people's business. Suddenly, a thought struck Lin Chun like a bolt of lightning. The Azure Dragon tribe didn't have a king? Wasn't his holy dragon the Azure Dragon? Ha ha! Lin Chun threw his head back and roared with laughter. He hugged Shui and kissed her fiercely through the mask. Ah, Shui let loose a cry of surprise. Big brother promises you that I'll help your big sister take care of this. Lin Chen's eyes flashed with a monstrous battle intent. Since the Azure Dragon tribe doesn't have a king, then it's time to appoint a new one. Night, Azure Dragon Palace. The moon hung high in the sky, and the night was beautiful. Within the palace, a yellow-robed young man was playing with a dozen or so female slaves with a sinister smile on his face. Oh, is the main course here? Qian Hong. That be asterisk TCH, she really did win my heart. She actually chose to kick him in disguise. The yellow-robed youth stared straight at the entrance of the palace and saw a beautiful figure walking towards him. The beauty was wearing a long dress that was as white as snow. Her fine black hair was tied up with a jade-like hairpin. Her cold and beautiful face was neither happy nor sad. Her slender waist was slender, and her jade-like hands were placed in front of her slender waist. The moonlight sprinkled on her body like specks of moonlight. She was elegant, noble, and elegant. However, her pair of beautiful green eyes no longer had the spirit of the past. Ha! It's not a waste for me to come here personally. Crown Prince Tian, you pushed away the female slaves and walked over with open arms. Is this my fate, father, mother? If your spirits are in heaven, what should I do? Mu Tianqing closed her eyes in resignation. At this moment, a strange phenomenon occurred. Bang! Boom! The doors of the Azure Dragon Palace were blasted open, and a terrifying gust of wind ravaged the interior of the Azure Dragon Palace. All the elders of the Azure Dragon clan were alarmed. A powerful aura appeared in the Azure Dragon city. Prince Tianyu narrowed his eyes. Who dared to cause trouble in front of him? A domineering and arrogant dragon roar came from the Azure Dragon Palace, shaking the entire Azure Dragon city. Azure Dragon clan, your emperor is back. Upon hearing this, Mu Tianqing's body trembled slightly. Bang! A beam of green light pierced through the Azure Dragon Palace. The person who came was wearing a silver robe and a silver dragon mask that looked ancient and ferocious. He faced Prince Tianyu directly. Sister. The petite figure jumped onto Mu Tianqing. Shui, why are you here? Didn't I tell you to stay away from the Azure Dragon Palace? Mu Tianqing scolded. Shui cried and laughed at the same time. She said emotionally, Sister, we are saved. Brother agreed to save us? Mu Tianqing was stunned. Brother? What brother? Swoosh! Swoosh! A series of figures arrived at the Azure Dragon Palace. They were the elders of the Azure Dragon clan and Prince Tianyu's Sage Realm Dragon servants. You deserve to die for disturbing the Crown Prince. The elders of the Azure Dragon clan immediately knelt down on one knee, sweating profusely. Just as the dragon servants were about to charge forward, Prince Tianyu raised his hand and looked at Lin Chun with murderous intent in his eyes. He smiled menacingly. It's been so long since I've seen someone who's courting death. Who are you? Lin Chun was neither slow nor hurried. He picked up the comb and parted his hair in the middle. Soon after, he teased with a smile. Who am I? This handsome guy is Jill Ing Bang Bang from Area 13 of the Great Wilderness Solo Plain region. From today onwards, the Azure Dragon clan will only have one king, and that's me, Ing Bang Bang. How dare you? Where did this bandit come from? How dare you blaspheme the name of the Azure Dragon King? The elders of the Azure Dragon clan warned Lin Chun. Get lost. I'm the one who's questioning this dog. Since when are you the one who speaks? The Azure Dragon clan is trash. What kind of name is that? Prince Tianyu suddenly released a stream of dragon chi, and that elder vomited blood from the impact. The other elders saw this, but they didn't dare to say anything. Prince Tianyu slowly walked in front of Lin Chun and smiled even more cruelly. What kind of trash wild dog dares to call itself the Dragon King? I'm not in a good mood right now. Are you going to kneel down and admit that you're from a useless dragon bloodline, or I'll beat you up until you poop? Prince Tianyu was so arrogant that he was comparable to the human race's monster ranking. Only he could kill others, but no one could kill him. It was as if he knew that no living being could go against his will. How could he tell Lin Chun to kneel down in such a situation? Friend, I don't know what your motive is. Mu Tianqing anxiously tried to stop Lin Chun, but who knew that he would pull Mu Tianqing behind him? Lin Chun whistled at Prince Tianyu and smiled. I remembered that according to the rules of the 10,000 Dragons Guild, you can't attack a dragon with an ancient dragon horn, right? Otherwise, even if you're an ancient dragon, you'll be punished, right? Shua. Lin Chun flipped his palm, and an ancient dragon horn and letter appeared. Pure dragon aura spread out from the dragon horn, causing all the green dragon elders to stare. It's an ancient dragon horn. It's the symbol of the dragon race's honor. With this dragon horn, you'll have the lowest level of protection from the dragon race. At least, you won't be exterminated. Prince Tianyu's expression changed. His eyes were no longer filled with disdain. He squinted his eyes. You have an ancient dragon horn? The 10,000 Dragons Conference was the highest ceremony of the dragon race. During the period of the conference, no dragon race was allowed to attack the dragon race with the ancient dragon horn. Otherwise, it would be a violation of the rules, and even the ancient dragon race would suffer terrifying punishment. Lin Chen's battle intent rose, and his dragon body's aura increased. Rays of ancient green light flowed around his body, and the aura of a 10,000-year profound green dragon engulfed the entire area. The green dragon elders were shocked. This kid was really from their green dragon race? His bloodline aura was so orthodox. But why didn't they have any impression of him? Such an excellent member, according to the history of the race, should be recorded. Lin Chen's domineering aura soared as he shouted, "Not only do I have an ancient dragon horn, I also want to lead the green dragon race to participate in the 10,000 Dragons Guild." Mu Tianqing's heart trembled, and tears appeared in her beautiful eyes. Participate in the 10,000 Dragons Guild? He wants to lead the green dragon race to participate in the 10,000 Dragons Guild. Chapter 1186. You can't. An Azure Dragon Elder hurriedly stopped Lin Chun. No matter where you come from, you can't lead our tribe to the 10,000 Dragons Conference. With the current strength of our tribe, we'll be courting death if we go. We'll even have to use up our ancient dragon horn. If you really care about our tribe, then leave the ancient dragon horn behind. Where there's life, there's hope. Prince Tian, you seem to have heard the biggest joke in the world. His laughter shook the entire dragon palace. Ha ha! Any random cat or dog wants to join the 10,000 Dragons Conference. The Azure Dragon is a lowly bloodline. Do you see that? Even if you have a dragon horn, your people won't follow you to the 10,000 Dragons Conference because they're a bunch of trash. The Azure Dragon elders lowered their heads in shame and gritted their teeth in anger. They were trying to protect the last flame of the Azure Dragon tribe. They didn't expect Prince Tianyu to humiliate them to this extent. The Azure Dragon tribe is not trash. Shui and Mu Tianqing stood up at almost the same time. Shui's face was red and tears filled her eyes. She shouted seriously, "The Azure Dragon tribe is not trash. Take back your words. The Azure Dragon tribe is trash? Are you looking down on me?" Unknowingly, Lin Shen got into character and changed his tone. He waved his hand in a dignified manner. "You can choose any of your immemorial dragon servants. As long as they are of the same level, my green dragon tribe will definitely beat you." What a joke. Are you insulting the crown prince? A few dragon servants were so angry that they laughed and stood up, wanting to request a fight. You don't agree? If you don't agree, then pick one and see who will fight who. Lin Chun calmly waved his hand. The Azure Dragon tribe was in trouble. The immemorial dragon tribe's crown prince dragon servant had a fourth-grade bloodline talent. The most outstanding member of the Azure Dragon tribe in recent years was Mu Tianqing, who had a third-grade bloodline. In short, if an Azure Dragon of the same level met an immemorial dragon tribe prodigy, they would die, not to mention an immemorial dragon tribe prodigy. Your Highness, I'm willing to take the initiative. At this moment, the graceful and charming thousand-red dragon servant bowed slightly and said respectfully, Your Majesty's dignity is not to be challenged. I happen to have the same cultivation level as this woman. Since this person dares to boast shamelessly, I am willing to take the initiative to meet this green dragon tribe. Qian Hong stepped forward and stared straight at Lin Shan and Mu Tianqing. Prince Tianyu raised his eyebrows and looked at Lin Shan with disdain. How about it? Do you dare to accept? A man's life depends on his breath, and a dragon's struggle for an inch of bone. What do you think, future Dragon King? Do you dare to fight? When Mu Tianqing received Lin Chen's voice transmission, she froze. From the words of this mysterious person who had suddenly appeared, she could hear many different meanings. He kept saying that he was the new king, but he said that he was the future Dragon King. What was his purpose? Why would he use the ancient dragon horn to protect the Azure Dragon tribe? Mu Tianqing was extremely intelligent. She instantly thought of the pros and cons. She slowly stepped out and said indifferently, Why wouldn't I dare? The Azure Dragon Elder's expressions changed slightly. They wanted to stop Mu Tianqing, but she raised her hand seriously and stared at the man with the silver dragon mask. The Azure Dragon tribe's situation was urgent. Mu Tianqing had no other choice. She could only give it her all. If it was a normal spar, it wouldn't violate the rules of the 10,000 Dragons League, right? The battle will be set for 4 hours later. Is there a problem? Prince Tianyu glanced at Mu Tianqing and Qian Hong. No problem. In the backyard of the Dragon Palace. Tianqing, how can you be so impulsive? Our ancient dragon tribe is no match for the immemorial dragon tribe. This is a problem of bloodline suppression. Tianqing, although your talent is comparable to many ancient dragon tribe prodigies, compared to the immemorial dragon tribe, even the most ordinary dragon tribe prodigies are nothing. The Azure Dragon tribe elders sighed. Shwe waved her little fist. Big Brothering Bang Bang is very powerful. He will definitely help Big Sister get through this. Mu Tianqing didn't say anything. She stared at Lin Shun. He smiled faintly. Logically speaking, you can't win. Although your talent is one of the most outstanding in the Azure Dragon tribe, you are still a distance away from a fourth-grade bloodline. However, with me here, all problems are no longer a problem. Lin Shan reached out to Mu Tianqing and smiled domineeringly. Give me your hand, and then say my name 100 times in your heart. The Azure Dragon tribe elders' lips twitched. This guy got into character pretty quickly, my king, who admitted that you are the Dragon King of the Azure Dragon tribe. Mu Tianqing put her hand on his palm, half believing and half doubting. She really closed her eyes and chanted, New King, bang, bang, bang. Before the Azure Dragon tribe elders could question and stop this absurd scene, Mu Tianqing's aura suddenly surged. The aura that belonged to the Azure Dragon royal tribe started to climb. This is... The elders of the Azure Dragon tribe were all shocked, beginning to strengthen the bloodline power of the target selected by the host. 290 strengthening points are consumed. Bloodline strengthening +1 successful. Bloodline strengthening +2 successful, +10 failure, +10 success, +11 failure, +11 success. Boom! A dark green dragon appeared above Mu Tianqing's head and galloped into the Dragon Palace. The dragon's breath covered the sky as if a heavenly dragon had appeared. Oh my God! Is the divine dragon manifesting? Young mistress's bloodline has doubled. No, tripled. It's still rising. What kind of heaven-defying technique is this? Young mistress's potential should have been developed to the extreme. The bloodline appraisal should be around the peak of 3rd grade. How did it suddenly increase by so much? What is this Jill Ing Bang Bang's background? The elders were completely shocked. Only the divine dragon or the mighty figures of the dragon tribe could increase the bloodline potential. The Azure Dragon bloodline was not very strong. Lin Chen only had 25 million strengthening points, which was not enough to strengthen orange-grade cultivation techniques. However, it was still easy to strengthen an Azure Dragon bloodline. Lin Chen's attack had caused a qualitative change, directly strengthening Mu Tianqing's bloodline to plus 14. Plus 14 10,000-year Azure Dragon bloodline. Overall increase, 320%. Mu Tianqing looked at herself in disbelief, and then at the silver-masked man in front of her. It was amazing. Mu Tianqing's bloodline power had increased by 320%. Her dragon bloodline power did not change, but the potential of her dragon body and bloodline special powers had increased by 320%. The same bloodline special powers that Mu Tianqing used with the same strength will be increased by 320%. The 5 Azure Dragon elders swallowed their saliva with difficulty. Perhaps young mistress made the right choice. This Sing Bang Bang will be the last hope of the Azure Dragon tribe. Smack! Lin Shen snapped his fingers and smiled playfully. It's time to teach those self-righteous fellows a lesson. In the Dragon Palace, Qianhong was massaging Prince Tian Yu's legs gently. His eyes were deep as he said seriously, I can't see through that silver mask guy. You have to give it your all in the battle later. He must have a backup plan. No matter what kind of elixir he uses or how he overdraws his bloodline power, we can't let him succeed. Qianhong replied obediently. Yes, late at night, outside the Dragon Palace, a group of Azure Dragon Tribe's higher-ups and 5 other Divine Dragon Elders had gathered. Lin Shun and Prince Tian Yu were both present. The other elders wanted to question Lin Shun, but they had already offended Prince Tian Yu. If they wanted to live, they had to rely on the ancient dragon horn in this kid's hands. Boom! Qianhong and Mu Tianqing entered the arena. Both of them were filled with murderous intent, and their dragon breaths were rising. Chapter 1187. How dare you defy the lords of the primordial dragon tribe? You are really blind. The 7th elder, who had just announced his departure from the green dragon tribe, sneered. Oh, they haven't even taken you in as a dog, and you're already wagging your tail for them? A traitor? The other green dragon elders immediately mocked back. They didn't care about such deserters at all. Oomph. Let's wait and see how Mu Tianqing will be crippled by the primordial dragon tribe prodigies. The 7th elder sneered and didn't argue with them. Let's stop at this sparring session. We'll fight until one side can no longer fight or surrenders. Prince Tian Yu sat on the high seat of the Dragon Palace and gave orders as if he was the king here. Lin Shun, who was wearing the silver dragon mask, nodded his head solemnly. That's right. It's just a spar. We won't fight to the death, but we can freely use small skills like eye poking, ear poking, penis poking, and so on. Look at my mouth. I didn't say anything. If both sides are ready, let's begin. The Green Dragon tribe's upper echelons were all stunned, and the elders' mouths twitched. Damn it, where did this old fox come from? Qianhong smiled and said, I'll torture you the same way I whipped you that day on the city wall. Mu Tianqing was calm, but her cold and aloof expression became colder and colder. Rip! Qianhong moved slightly, and her slim figure turned into a dragon shadow. She used her 6 billion dragon power points to tear open a crack in the void, forming billowing airwaves. Boom! The dragon's breath turned into a mountain, and 1,000 feet tall green mountain pressed down. The primordial dragon tribe's battle talent was fully displayed. Mu Tianqing changed into a dragon armor and looked valiant. Her steps were like a swimming dragon, and green light refracted and flashed continuously. Bang! The green mountain avoided her dragon's breath, and the dragon palace shook. Rip! There was a sonic boom, and the 2 dragon claws collided in the void. A mighty dragon tail, with the power to sweep through an army, swept toward Mu Tianqing like a mountain range. Her green light was extinguished, and she changed her footwork again, narrowly dodging the attack. The square outside the Dragon Palace was engulfed in an intense battle. The two of them were either transforming into part of their forms or using their bloodline divine arts. Neither of them revealed their true forms first. Both sides fought fiercely, causing the situation to change rapidly. The two of them turned into two streaks of divine light and fought from the sky to the ground. Everywhere they passed, the spatial crystal walls were shattered. The light was dim, and the dragon's breath was chaotic. The battle attracted even more members of the Azure Dragon tribe to spectate. They witnessed how Mu Tianqing could only bitterly persevere under Qian Hong's attacks, and their hearts sank. Her valiant appearance was like a sonorous rose on the battlefield, proud, holy, tenacious, and unyielding. On the other hand, Qian Hong's dragon body was a ghastly sight as she collapsed in a pool of blood. More than half of the dragon scales on his upper body had been torn off. His skin and flesh were torn open, and there was even a bloody hole in his chest. The upper echelons, elders, and clansmen of the Azure Dragon tribe were dumbfounded. Thrashing. This was a complete thrashing. Mu Tianqing hadn't even transformed in her dragon form, but she had already severely injured the primordial dragon tribe prodigy. Mu Tianqing's combat skills and mentality were far superior to Qian Hong's. But more importantly, the power of her bloodline divine art had increased by several levels. The other 5 elders were shocked by Mu Tianqing's combat strength. From what they knew, Mu Tianqing was far from qualified to use the 10,000-year-old dragon-breaking spear bloodline divine art. Mu Tianqing looked down at the dying Qian Hong and said calmly, "While you were kneeling and having fun with other male dragons, I was already fighting with my father. It's true that you're talented, but the Azure Dragon tribe isn't some weakling. If you want to bully me and my clansmen, you'll have to break a few teeth." The last sentence seemed to be said for Prince Tianyu. It was sonorous and powerful. "How dare you offend His Highness? Are you courting death?" A dragon servant was enraged and charged toward Mu Tianqing. Whoosh! The silver-robed figure blocked the dragon servant and said calmly, "What's wrong? The primordial dragon tribe can't even afford to spar once? Or are you trying to break the rules of the 10,000 dragons gathering?" Prince Tianyu recalled the dragon servant and chuckled. "Hee hee. What a good new Azure Dragon King. What a good new Azure Dragon King. I'm actually looking forward to meeting you at the 10,000 Dragons Gathering. I hope you won't be a coward. If you can't do well at the 10,000 Dragons Gathering and lose the ancient dragon horn, I'll make your trashy Azure Dragon tribe disappear from this world." His eyes flashed with a crazy and turbulent killing intent. Lin Shen laughed heartily at the sky. "Ha ha ha. Don't worry. I've already decided to be the champion. Go home and shit. Your tribe won't be part of the 10,000 dragons gathering this time." Chapter 1188. The dragon servants helped Qian Hong up. When she returned to her human form, her face was as pale as paper. She looked at Mu Tianqing viciously before kneeling on the ground with difficulty. She didn't dare to look at Prince Tianyu. Prince Tianyu waved his sleeves and said calmly, "Qian Hong, you're not the reason for our loss this time. Get up. I thought that even if Mu Tianqing's bloodline potential doubled, she wouldn't be able to win against you. I didn't expect her bloodline potential to be more than doubled." Prince Tianyu looked around and summoned his dragon chariot. "Let's go to the 10,000 Dragons Conference." The dragon servants didn't dare to complain. They helped Qian Hong up and rode the dragon chariot away. Even after Prince Tianyu left, everyone still felt like they were in a dream. We won. Their declining primordial dragon race actually had the chance to win against a prodigy of the primordial dragon race. We won. Will the green dragon race be able to stand up one day? Too powerful. The prodigy of the primordial dragon race was no match for our Princess Mu. The person who inherited the will of the Dragon King has appeared. Countless Green Dragon race members cried tears of joy as they rushed outside the Dragon Palace and shouted Mu Tianqing's name. The higher-ups of the green dragon race were deeply worried. Offending the prince of the primordial dragon race usually didn't end well. Mu Tianqing's body was covered in dragon blood as she announced loudly, "Everyone, I, Mu Tianqing, am so powerful because of the help of our new green dragon king. Our new king will lead us to the 10,000 Dragons Conference and win the highest honor of the dragon race." The green dragon race members outside the dragon palace suddenly fell silent. New king? A new king appeared in the green dragon race? Boom! The aura was overwhelming. The green dragon flag danced in the wind. A person in a silver robe held the green dragon flag and stepped into the air. The expressions of the green dragon race members outside the dragon palace changed slightly. This was the dragon flag, the symbol of honor of the dragon race. The green dragon flag danced in the wind like a flying green dragon dancing in the sky. It emitted a vast dragon aura that originated from the green dragon royal bloodline, causing all the green dragon race members to kneel down. Every dragon race had their own dragon flag. The dragon flag could only be used when the race was about to die or when they were accepting honor. Only to the dragon king and his heir had the right to use the dragon flag. Why does he have the dragon flag? Ridiculous! Isn't it absurd to let an outsider hold our clan's dragon flag? The Azure Dragon Elders were about to attack Lin Chun when Mu Tianqing shouted, "Stop! The Azure Dragon banner was given to him by me. If it wasn't for him bringing the ancient dragon horn to our tribe to help, our tribe would have been exterminated long ago. Otherwise, we would have become the playthings of the immemorial dragon tribe. He saved our Azure Dragon tribe from calamity. Our tribe should repay him." Mu Tianqing's decision shocked the elders. There are other ways to repay. How can we use the dragon banner to exchange for it? This is an ancestral item that can only be used in the moment of life and death for the Azure Dragon tribe. The second elder of the Green Dragon tribe reprimanded Mu Tianqing. Her eyes were so cold that it made people shiver. "Second elder, have you not seen the situation clearly? Right now, the 10,000-year-old Azure Dragon tribe is facing a moment of life and death. We only have one possibility left, and that is to follow him to the 10,000 Dragons Conference. Only then can we protect our tribe's last hope. If we miss this chance, we will never be able to rise again. What's more, didn't you see his ability clearly? If it wasn't for his help, how could I have won so easily against the immemorial dragon tribe?" Mu Tianqing's beautiful eyes turned to the silver-robed figure in the void and murmured, "He has the possibility of turning the tide." The elders of the Azure Dragon tribe were rendered speechless. They were silent for a while. Everyone, at this moment, Lin Chun, who was holding the Azure Dragon banner, spoke. His voice spread throughout the Dragon Palace. It was clear and had a convincing confidence. He took off his mask and revealed a young and handsome face. This was the appearance of Lin Chen's sacred dragon in human form. It wasn't Lin Chen's true appearance. The Azure Dragon tribe has reached a moment of life and death. If we don't participate in the 10,000 Dragons Conference and fight for a chance at survival, we will never be able to rise again. Lin Chen's voice was loud and clear. The dark Azure Dragon aura transformed into a 10,000-year-old Azure Dragon that roared angrily into the sky. His aura was incomparably pure, causing the Azure Dragon tribe members to feel an even purer pressure. The potential of this bloodline was not inferior to the Azure Dragon Princess, Mu Tianqing. Do you think I, the new king, is more annoying or the crown prince of the immemorial dragon tribe? As Lin Chen spoke, the kneeling Azure Dragon tribe members all lowered their heads and looked at each other. Their Azure Dragon tribe had been humiliated and oppressed for so many years, but this new king of unknown origin had made Princess Tianqing proud and fight a comeback. The answer was very obvious, but no one dared to make a sound. Everyone feared the might of the immemorial dragon tribe from the bottom of their hearts. A few experts of the immemorial dragon tribe could casually come out and destroy their Azure Dragon tribe. They dared to be angry, but they did not dare to say anything. Damn it, tell this king. This king doesn't like cowards. Are you really trash like those immemorial Dragon Tribe members said? Lin Chun roared angrily. A hot-blooded Azure Dragon Tribe member stood up against the might of the Azure Dragon flag and gritted his teeth. No, we, the 10,000-year-old Azure Dragon Tribe, are not trash. We are not trash. Another group of Azure Dragon Tribe members stood up and shouted, their fighting spirit high. Lin Chun laughed wildly. Guts, I like it. This king will say it directly today. I don't care if you worship me as king or not. I'm going to King drag down those immemorial Dragon Tribe members who look down on us and beat their sons of bitches. If anyone dares to touch us, even if we die, we'll take a few dragon scales from them. Just like how the prison-suppressing Dragon Tribe members scrammed with their tails between their legs. Lin Chun pointed to the sky and announced proudly, in this 10,000 Dragons conference, this king will let the first ray of sunlight shine on our Azure Dragon flag and beat up those immemorial Dragon Tribe members who look down on us. Then, I'll announce to the world that we, the 10,000-year-old Azure Dragon Tribe, are also descendants of the divine dragon. The dragon roar shook the heavens and earth. The words descendants of the divine dragon seemed to pass through time and space, deeply shaking the hearts of every Azure Dragon Tribe member. Those old Azure Dragon higher-ups unknowingly began to cry silently. Once upon a time, they no longer had the face-to-face or even mention this part of history. Today, this new king who appeared out of nowhere used facts to prove that the 10,000-year-old Azure Dragon Tribe could also beat the immemorial Dragon Tribe. They were also descendants of the divine dragon. The new king is mighty. The new king is smart. We are also descendants of the divine dragon. The single king is so handsome. There's a traitor among us. Beat him. Countless Azure Dragon Tribe members' fighting spirit and blood were aroused. The Azure Dragon elders looked at each other and sighed in amazement. Perhaps this is the last time we should gamble. A white-haired elder with green horns stared at Lin Chun's back for a moment. The corners of his eyes were wet as he waved his hand and shouted, "Pass down my order. All the Azure Dragon Tribe's holy dragons, move out and follow our new king to participate in the 10,000 Dragons Conference." A new king of the Azure Dragon Tribe had risen. Chapter 1189. The Green Dragon Tribe's Grand Elder was an old fox. He couldn't figure out Lin Chun's goal, but he could tell that Lin Chun was a friend and not an enemy. Why did he choose Lin Chun? Because they had no other choice. Their Green Dragon Tribe had offended the Crown Prince of the Tianyue prison-suppressing Dragon Tribe, and there was no way out. Only by passing the selection in the 10,000 Dragons Assembly and obtaining the title of Honorable Dragon Tribe could the Green Dragon Tribe be protected from extinction. Big Brother Jill is our Dragon King? Amazing! Mu Tianchue's eyes lit up, and her eyes were filled with worship. Yes, a Dragon Tribe member that I've known for less than 6 hours has become the new king of our tribe. If this was in the past, I wouldn't have dared to imagine it. Mu Tianqing smiled sweetly. Miraculously, she didn't feel any pressure at all. Instead, she felt more at ease with a clear conscience. She could finally fight with all her might. At least she didn't need to curry favor with anyone. Elders of the Green Dragon Tribe, is there any meaning? Lin Chun turned around and asked with a domineering smile. The elders looked at each other and knelt on one knee. Greetings, new king. The next day, at the Dragon Palace's inheritance ground, the dragon statue altar was 1,000 jong tall, and it looked like a giant dragon lying on the ground. The dragon's mouth spat out pearls, and a tyrannical aura spread out. This place was called the Green Dragon Ancient Altar, and the Green Dragon Tribe's Grand Elder, Mu Tianqing, and Lin Chun were gathered here. Lin Chun's eyes lit up. There were high-grade blood essence attributes everywhere. New king, this is the altar where we undergo the bloodline baptism. If you haven't undergone the bloodline baptism, your bloodline will be able to reach a higher level here. The Grand Elder introduced to Lin Chun and cupped his fists. His dragon eyes shone brightly as he spoke seriously. New king, this old man needs to know your strength. Are you interested in exchanging a few moves with this old man? Mu Tianqing's expression changed slightly, and she hurriedly said, Grand Elder, you have more than 700 million dragon veins. In the human race, only late third heaven true saints can fight with you. Isn't this inappropriate? Lass, if he can't even pass me, how can he stand out in the 10,000 dragons assembly? Results are not something that can be won with just one speech. The great elder's expression was indifferent as he turned to Lin Shun. How about it? Does the new king dare to accept? If you can take 5 moves from this old man will acknowledge your strength. Lin Shun put on his silver dragon mask and smiled sinisterly. Good timing. Boom. When an azure dragon tail appeared, the great elder's expression changed slightly. His dragon breath surged. After dozens of breaths, the space in the land of inheritance shook violently for a moment before it slowly stopped. The great elder retracted his dragon's breath. At the same time that the light dimmed, his expression was filled with shock. The strength of this new young king far exceeded his understanding. He only had 5 billion dragon power points, but he had lasted more than 5 rounds against him. He had almost lost his original body. What was even more frightening was that each of his mystiques could be split into 5, like a divine dragon descending to the mortal world. Mu Tianqing, who had always been cold and arrogant, opened her red lips slightly, as if she had seen a ghost. What she had seen just now had subverted her understanding. A glint flashed across the great elder's old eyes. He was shocked and couldn't retreat. He cupped his fist respectfully and said, May I ask where the new king is from? Lin Shun smiled casually and said, My background is not important. Great elder, you only need to know that we are now on the same boat. At the Wanlong meeting, there will definitely be a 10,000-year azure dragon. The great elder trembled in fear and no longer had any doubts. He bowed deeply and said, It is the azure dragon tribe's fortune to be able to meet you. Lin Shun stepped onto the dragon altar, extended an azure dragon claw, and absorbed all the attribute light balls. Obtained 88. 82 million advanced health points, 92. 22 million advanced health points, 100 million points. All the advanced health points were absorbed into the holy dragon's body, and the dragon meridians opened wildly. Boom! After stepping onto the dragon altar, Lin Shun activated the dragon aura of the dragon altar, and the holy dragon bloodline soared rapidly. What a huge phenomenon. It's even better than Mrs. back then. The great elder secretly clicked his tongue. Host's 10,000-year azure dragon bloodline has increased by 1 million points, 3 million points, 5 million points. Lin Shun's azure dragon bloodline soared to 99. 99 million points in just half an hour. In addition, his bloodline strengthening level was plus 15. Lin Shun's azure dragon bloodline ability had increased by more than 5 times. This 10,000 Dragons conference was different from the past. Lin Shun couldn't use his human body's battle strength. The 10,000 Dragons conference was one of the most important ceremonies of the dragon race. No matter how perfect his aura was, he couldn't use his body to fight under the eyes of the dragon race experts. During the 10,000 Dragons conference, his body could only hide in the clear snow plant pouch. Lin Shun's charge, penetration, and illusion runes couldn't be activated by the holy dragon. But his purple grade, quasi-orange grade, and orange grade talents, odd crystals, could be used perfectly. Most importantly, he still had his trump card, the slow rune, and his killing move. 4 hours later, Lin Shun's holy dragon perfectly absorbed all the advanced health points, and the dragon meridian's strength soared to 5 billion dragon power points. His pure strength was comparable to the early stage, third heaven true saint realm. The dragon altar can only activate the bloodline, but his pure strength has increased by so much. What's going on? Mu Tianqing and the Grand Elder were shocked. Lin Shun walked down the dragon altar and waved his hand as he laughed. Gather all the dragon race elders. I'm going to give your entire race a big gift. 4 days later, Great Desolate Cloud Peak Sky. Cloud Peak Sky Canyon was the venue of the 10,000 Dragons Conference. This place was like a dragon splitting open the abyss, and its aura was majestic. The earth vein was divided into two halves, and the two sides were lined up like highlands. 10 red lotus of flaming dragons flew across the sky, and with a flash of red light, they turned into human forms and entered the venue. Those who could enter the venue were all holy dragons. Ordinary holy beasts weren't qualified to enter. Regardless of whether it was advanced beasts or ancient beasts, there was only the dragon race here. Haha, it's been 10,000 years again. Time really flies. Back then, this king's eldest prince won the dragon crown, and this king's daughter will continue her glory. His laughter shook the wind and thunder, and 10,000 bolts of lightning appeared, bathing in endless lightning. A thundercloud rose, and a tiger-eyed middle-aged man wearing a dragon robe stepped into the Cloud Peak Sky Canyon. His aura was majestic, and behind him were two fierce-looking youths, one male and one female, who had the aura of a king. Many holy dragons looked up, and many dragon race experts exclaimed, "The ancient dragon race's extreme jade lightning dragon. What a domineering aura!" They were the ones who won the championship back then, the only glory in history. While everyone was exclaiming, a cold snort tore through the sky. A bunch of fellows who only know how to shoot lightning. Last time, you were lucky to win because the exam venue was in a thunderplane. What are you so smug about? A pair of dragon wings spread out, sweeping up the clouds for thousands of miles. A golden-eyed man stepped on a tornado of wind blades and appeared in the air. The pair of dragon wings on his back were tens of thousands of feet long, and it seemed as if they could cover the sky with a single flap. The Wind Saint Winged Dragon race is also here. When the tiger-eyed man saw who had arrived, he flicked his sleeves and sneered. Then let's see who will slap whose face this time. The two races were competing tit for tat, one after another. Strange phenomena converged from all directions. The dragons, who were extremely famous in the outside world, appeared one after another at this moment. More than 10,000 holy dragons had gathered in the venue. The terrifying, baleful aura seemed to be able to destroy all human civilization. If any fourth heaven or fifth heaven true saints were to come here, they would be turned into dust in an instant. 10,000 dragons covered the sky, and the dragons roared in the sky. This was a grand ceremony belonging to the dragon race, and the spectators and participants were all members of the dragon race. A prehistoric storm was unfolding in the great wilderness. Chapter 1190. In a myriad dragon arena, after the appearance of the Wind Saint Winged Dragons, another 8 teams of the primordial dragon race appeared, each more terrifying than the last. The cheers of the dragon race in the arena could be said to have shattered the space. In the end, it was the mighty figures of the dragon race who stepped in to maintain the space. 1. A dark curtain opened, and 3 figures walked in from the void like messengers in the dark night. Every step they took created ripples in the dark air, and it was as if 3 dark tornadoes were sweeping over. It's the dark heavenly dragon race. These guys are each more terrifying than the last. The 10,000 Dragon League's rule is that the number of participants is limited to 20. Only 3 came this time. Contempt, blatant contempt, as expected of the primordial dragon race. Although they didn't become the primordial dragon race, a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. The sacred beasts in human form were shocked as the 3 geniuses of the dark heavenly dragon race entered. The leader of the dark heavenly dragon race was a beauty in a black dress. She was like a rose blooming in the dark night. When she looked around, none of the primordial dragon race princes dared to look at her directly. Beneath that peerless elegance, there was a fatal killing intent hidden. A bunch of cowards. The 10,000 Dragon League is getting worse and worse. The beauty in the black dress sneered in disdain. The majesty in her eyes was like that of a ruler. Rumble. The mysterious yellow holy light wandered. Under a beam of dragon light, the dragon chariot rolled over. The 9 dragon servants beside him transformed into human forms, setting off the yellow-robed youth in the center like stars supporting the moon. Crown Prince Xuanjin of the mystic mountain prison dragon race. It's said that his bloodline is the closest to the Tianyue mountain prison dragon in this generation. TSK. What do you mean by closest? The Tianyue mountain prison dragon ancestor used to be the guardian dragon of hell, a true divine dragon. It's already not bad that this little brat has 20% of the bloodline. Many experienced cultivators looked over. Crown Prince Xuanjin stepped onto the dragon platform and looked straight at the beauty in the black dress from the Dark Heaven dragon race. Crown Prince Xuanjin said, "How have you been this time?" The beauty in the black dress was as cold as ice. "I hope you've improved a little. Otherwise, I'll crush you with one claw. My 10,000 fire dragon race will be the champion this time." A wave of fire surged into the venue. The newcomers were a group of young men with robust physiques. The man in the lead had fierce eyes and sharp eyebrows. His crimson eyebrows were like 2 wisps of burning flames. His might suppressed the surroundings, and he was extraordinarily handsome. An innate king of the fire element dragons, the myriad fire dragon clan? This is a rare opportunity. Some female dragons in human form licked their tongues. It was said that the myriad fire dragon race was as arrogant as the sun. They had the power of the sun to nourish their bodies. They were famous in many dragon races. Countless female dragons wanted to marry a member of the myriad fire dragon race. Oh, the beauty in the black dress narrowed her beautiful eyes and said indifferently, "You refined 8 odd crystals. Interesting." All of a sudden, the black-dressed beauty seemed to have sensed something. She turned around and saw that a bunch of illusory shadows had appeared on the dragon platform. These shadows twisted into human shapes and gradually became more than 10 people. The youth in front yawned. "I hate this kind of noisy scene the most. Can't you just let this crown prince quietly enjoy the food?" Although it's also very exciting to be able to eat different kinds of meat from the same race. After he finished speaking, the black-robed man licked his lips. The dragons at the side quickly retreated with vigilance. The faces of the sacred dragons on both sides of the venue changed. The burial shadow illusion dragon was the most mysterious branch of the immemorial dragon race. They had natural spiritual talent and teleportation talent. They could kill invisibly, and their targets wouldn't even know how they died. They were the most terrifying existences in the dragon race. At this moment, there were already more than 8,000 sacred dragons gathered in the dragon platform. They were bustling with activity, and each occupied an area. Adding in the sacred dragons that were visiting the myriad dragon gathering, there were 18,000 sacred dragons. That was equivalent to 18,000 saints. This lineup was a huge force in any of the 36 regions of the sacred boundary. There were only 3 to 5 saints in the 3rd grade human forces. There were 7 to 15 in the 4th grade. The most important thing was that the sacred dragons that could enter the myriad dragon gathering were not ordinary people. Ordinary human saints weren't their opponents at all. The voice transmission reverberated throughout the myriad dragon gathering. Most of the participating members of the dragon race have arrived. It seems like no one has broken the rules. The rules of the myriad dragon gathering are that no one can participate with more than 900 million dragon veins. Every dragon race can only send 20 people. Don't try to use any methods to hide from me. If you find anyone who violates the rules, kill them immediately. One of the experts from the dragon race spoke, and his dragon might suppress the entire venue. No one dared to say a word. No one could exceed 900 million dragon veins. That meant that they were at the peak of the 3rd heaven true, saint realm and below. This meant that there wouldn't be a 4th heaven true, saint realm expert in this myriad dragon gathering. However, who knew how many trump cards the princes and princesses of the immemorial dragon race had? Otherwise, if there were no restrictions, the other ancient and ancient dragon races wouldn't have a chance. With the foundation of the immemorial dragon race, they could casually send out a grand elder and be in an invincible position. Now, let me announce the list of participants. The ancient dragon race has 234 participating teams. The ancient dragon race has 189 participating teams, and the immemorial dragon race has 71 participating teams. After the decision of the Myriad Dragon Gathering, this gathering will be divided into 4 stages. Those who pass the second stage will receive the title of Honorary Dragon Race. They will receive the protection of our race and be nurtured heavily. The moment the words left his mouth, everyone was shocked. The content of the Myriad Dragon Gathering was different every time. The title of Honorary Dragon Race could only be obtained after passing the final stage. Now that it was divided into 4 stages, one could obtain it after passing the second stage. Was this a good thing? F***CK. According to this old man's understanding, this isn't a good thing. If one can obtain the title of Honorary Dragon Race after passing the second stage, this means that the Myriad Dragon Gathering this time will be extremely dangerous. Compared to the past, who knows how many times more dangerous it will be. The group of holy dragons whispered to each other, and their eyes were filled with worry. They couldn't help but worry for their own geniuses. Boom! Strong winds swept through the Myriad Dragon Gathering, and at this time, a strong gust of wind appeared in the passageway. Everyone was stunned. Who would enter at this time? Shouldn't all the participating members of the dragon race have arrived? Many dragon race geniuses, elders, and servants turned their heads to look. The first thing that entered their eyes was a dragon flag that looked like a dancing dragon. The dragon flag fluttered in the wind, and it looked like an azure dragon soaring into the sky. A group of people walked in. The person at the front wore a silver robe and had a dragon face. He carried a dragon flag on his shoulder and walked with a majestic gait. He didn't have an aura that could topple mountains or overturn seas, nor did he have any fancy extravagance. Instead, he walked step by step onto the dragon stage. The 11 of them stood proudly in front of all the dragons. Clang! The dragon flag was stabbed into the ground as a youth spoke. The new Azure Dragon King will lead the 10 participants of the 10,000-year Azure Dragon race to participate in the Myriad Dragon Gathering. In an instant, the Myriad Dragon Gathering was silent. Chapter 1191. 10,000-Year Azure Dragon. This name was too unfamiliar. Even within the ancient Dragon Clan, there were only a few who had heard of this name. The Dragon Clan elder at the venue checked Lin Shun and the others' ancient dragon horn and letter. After confirming that there were no mistakes, he transmitted a message to the Dragon Clan in the air. Could it be that infamous Azure Dragon Clan? Ha ha ha! No way. This kind of trash can participate in the 10,000 Dragons Conference? New king of the Azure Dragon Clan. Where did this new king come from? Hey kid, go back and drink milk. Don't be scared until you piss your pants. Ha ha. Hey. These guys are still carrying the dragon flag? They even brought out their own dragon flag. Are they so heroic as cannon fodder? What are you laughing at? Be serious. The dragon flag represents the honor and life and death of a clan. Isn't being able to participate in the 10,000 Dragons Conference a glorious moment for the Azure Dragon Clan? On both sides of the dragon platforms, laughter of ridicule and mockery erupted. The law of the jungle, the survival of the fittest. This was even more vividly displayed in the vast wilderness. Without strength, you didn't even have the qualifications to be looked at directly by others. One had to know that the ancient Dragon Clan members present were all outstanding existences of the same level. What was the Azure Dragon Clan? An ancient dragon clan that was once at the bottom? Now, it was a trash dragon clan that didn't even have the title of ancient dragon clan. It was like a group of beggars sneaking into a royal banquet. It was simply a joke. However, in the face of all the doubts, mockery, ridicule, disdain, and abuse, as well as the powerful pressure caused by the gazes of so many people, the Azure Dragon clan appeared unperturbed and unmoved, like a rock that had been tempered thousands of times, unmoving like a mountain in the face of wind and rain. In fact, there was an even stronger fighting spirit burning in their dragon eyes. Above the void, a small space plane was created. A group of figures that almost covered the sky stood in the spatial plane one after another, like insurmountable mountains. The ancient dragon horn and letter are indeed real. Looks like they have fulfilled the conditions. According to the rules of the conference, we have no reason to expel them. No, look, there's something wrong with this Azure Dragon clan's new king, little fellow. Apart from the 10,000-year profound Azure Dragon's bloodline aura, there are also traces of the great flame, true phoenix, and the heavenly winged dragon. I've seen a few dragons with dual bloodlines. Even some of the dragon prodigies present have dual bloodlines. However, 3 bloodlines coexisting in one body, or a dragon and a phoenix in one body. Strange, too strange. Could it be a spy from the phoenix race? Should we capture him and interrogate him? Do you think this is your own courtyard? This was the 10,000 Dragons Guild. With so many people watching, how could they capture them without permission? Breaking the rules? If you were a member of the Phoenix clan, would you make such a stupid mistake? Send this person to us? Even if he's at the 5th or 6th Heaven True Saint realm, we can still kill him with a single thought. He's just a junior who had some fortuitous encounters. So what if he has 3 bloodlines? Other than the primordial flame Phoenix bloodline, the quality of the other bloodlines is not worth mentioning. The group of dragon race major powers that led the Myriad Dragons Association actually developed considerable interest in Lin Shun. However, they did not make a move on Lin Shun. In their eyes, he was just an interesting ant. In the dragon race, bloodline talent determined the upper limit. No matter how rare this kid's 3 bloodlines were, they were at most 3rd or 4th grade bloodlines. This kind of talent could not be compared to any of the primordial dragon clan's princes. Suddenly, Lin Shun seemed to feel the gazes of the experts from the dragon clan. He raised his head and looked into the sky. He actually met the gazes of the experts from the dragon clan. And this kid's temperament is not bad. He can actually sense our gazes. He's neither servile nor overbearing. The 3 bloodlines are relatively low grade. Unless he can evolve them, it will be difficult. Even if we take action, the success rate is not high. Furthermore, he might not be able to control the bloodlines at the same time. This kid's future is limited. There's no harm in letting him participate. In the dragon platform, Lin Shun felt a bone-chilling gaze enter his body. He knew that it was the eyes of the experts from the dragon clan. They saw through all his secrets. Fortunately, I didn't ask Jin Qingsheng for help. The cultivation of these experts from the dragon clan is extremely terrifying. If it wasn't for the holy dragon that I nurture myself, I don't have the confidence to disguise myself as a ferocious beast in front of these experts. Lin Chen's heart skipped a beat. He looked around and activated Steel Omen again. Consumed 92,885 intermediate talent points to activate Steel Omen. Stolen attribute points. 89,990,000 advanced health. 100 million battle aura essence. 200 million advanced health. 1,549 advanced water energy. 2,000 advanced rune energy. 4,000 intermediate heavenly Dao points. Lin Chen's attribute points soared like never before. The attribute points of more than 18,000 holy dragons. All of them have been stolen by him once. Compared to him, the 1,000 or so saints in the sacred Burial Mountain range paled in comparison. While absorbing the attribute points, Lin Shun led the Green Dragon clan into the dragon platform. Only the Primordial Dragon clan and the Primordial Dragon clan looked at Lin Shun. The Primordial Dragon clan's princes and princesses glanced at the Green Dragon clan as if they were trash and then looked away with disgust. It was as if looking at them would dirty their eyes. Only the dark Heavenly Dragon clan's beauty in a black dress had a dark glow in her beautiful eyes. It was as if she wanted to see through everything about Lin Shun. Oh, I didn't expect the Green Dragon clan to find a new ancient dragon horn to participate in the competition so quickly. Mu Tianqing, did you find a lover somewhere and get the ancient dragon horn in exchange for playing music for him? A sarcastic laugh was heard. A charming woman walked over with a slender waist. Mu Tianqing's face was as cold as frost, and her killing intent was obvious. Crimson Dragon Tribe, it was you who deceived my father and stole our ancient dragon horn. We will fight to the death. Mu Tianqing's voice was as cold as a judgment from hell. The charming woman in the red robe giggled. Look at the Green Dragon clan now. What kind of ability do you have to participate in the Myriad Dragons meet? Are you here to die? Our Crimson Dragon Tribe has 18 fierce generals. The elders of the Green Dragon Tribe were enraged, but Lin Chen stopped them and smiled indifferently. Whether my Green Dragon Tribe is strong or not, you will know in a while. As for who knows how to play and sing, we'll see. Buzz. A mental sound wave was heard again. Everyone retracted their gazes and listened attentively. Cough, cough, cough. The elder's voice was very weak. It seemed to be another mighty figure from the Dragon Clan. That weak voice sounded in everyone's ears. The first round of the Myriad Dragons meet will be held in the Heaven Barbarian Plain. As long as you can stay in the Heaven Barbarian Plain for 3 days and 3 nights and collect 2 white dragon pearls, you will pass the test. There is a purple dragon pearl in the center of the plain. The clan that obtains the purple dragon pearl will receive special rewards and care in the next round of the test. Once the words Heaven Barbarian Plain were mentioned, many of the participating dragons were shocked. Chapter 1192. The ancient dragon prodigy's expressions also changed slightly. This was a real danger zone. The Heaven Barbarian Plain was a mystic plane that belonged solely to the dragon race. The gravity in its territory was 1 million to 10 million times that of the sacred boundary. 1 million times. Even the dragon race, with strong physical bodies, could not easily withstand it. Ordinary dragons would be squashed into meat paste if they entered. Hearing about the first round of the test, some dragon participants were extremely dissatisfied and could not help but curse. Damn it, this is too unfair. Aren't the dragons, who are good at defense, taking advantage of this? Just as that person finished speaking, his expression suddenly turned blank. He made a few sound from his throat and fell to the ground. Sizzling dragon aura rose from his body and dissipated. His life was extinguished. A small number of veteran dragon prodigies watching the dragon gathering looked at him as if he deserved it. They shook their heads and laughed. The weak and old voice continued to sound from the void. Just a small ant. Cough, cough, cough. How dare you talk so much nonsense? Some first-time dragon prodigies participating in the Myriad Dragons gathering felt their hair stand on end. They did not even know how that person died, killing a participant while talking and laughing. This was the upper echelon of the dragon race that led the Myriad Dragons gathering. The weak old man continued. The Heaven Barbarian Plain's outer region is 1 million times. The middle region is 2 million to 4 million times. The core region, cough, cough, is 5 million to 8 million times. The closer you are to the inner region, the higher the probability of obtaining a Dragon Ball. Actually, you don't have to look for it. You could just snatch it. And the only purple Dragon Ball is placed in the center of the plane where the gravity is 10 million times. Warriors of all races, take care of yourselves. You only have 3 days. Those who do not have 2 Dragon Balls or are completely annihilated will be considered to have failed the elimination. Buzz. A spatial crack opened and appeared above the heads of the participants. What was reflected in the eyes of the dragons was a grayish-white continental plate. It slowly rotated as if Tian Huang had descended. There were many rings of light surrounding the continental plate. Now the test begins. Just as the participants were about to enter, the dragon flag fluttered, and a silver-robed figure walked in front. Everyone looked. It was the new Azure Dragon King. The trash of the 10,000-year Azure Dragon dares to take the lead? Their clan seems to be good at defense. Who knows? They might be able to come out on top this time. Some of the primordial dragons sneered mockingly. But to their surprise, this new Azure Dragon King didn't immediately charge into the spatial plane. He walked to the front of the dragon platform, where 3 platforms stood. The 3 dragon heads opened their mouths. There were 3 seats for awarding prizes, representing the champion, the runner-up, and the runner-up. It symbolized the highest honor. Why is he walking onto the podium? While many dragons were puzzled, in the next moment, the pupils of the Dragon Clan powerhouses who were watching from both sides shrank. Lin Shun stood at the top of the stage, raised the Azure Dragon flag, and plunged it down. Clang! Bang! Boom! Boom! Hurricanes swept across, and wild waves surged to the sky. The Azure Dragon flag fluttered in the wind, like an unyielding azure dragon standing on the champion's platform. Swish! Swish! The dragon race experts on both sides of the cloud-top sky plaza stood up abruptly with their mouths wide open. He actually placed the 10,000-year-old Azure Dragon flag on the champion's platform. Mu Tianqing covered her red lips with both hands. She knew that this new king was domineering and arrogant, but she didn't dare to dream that he would dare to place the Azure Dragon flag on the champion's seat of the 10,000 dragons meet. Lin Shun turned around, faced the 10,000 dragons, and pointed to the sky. Glory to the 10,000-year-old. The champion belongs to the Azure Dragon. The Azure Dragon elders were so shocked that their bodies trembled. He smiled slightly, and his laughter was hearty and wild. Those who are not convinced can enter the Heaven Barbarian plane. I will beat you until you are convinced. Swish! Lin Shen's hand turned into a dragon's arm, and he grabbed everyone from the Azure Dragon race into the spatial rift. The woman in the black dress stared at Lin Shun, and her eyes became more and more hesitant. Roar! 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 Many dragons roared crazily. The dragon race was originally arrogant and unruly. This time, they were actually looked down upon by the lowest-level dragon race. Who could tolerate it? Azure Dragon race, I will stomp you into dog shit this time. A bunch of trash. When we enter the Heaven Barbarian plane later, I will eat you alive. Trash that isn't even from the ancient dragon race dares to look down on us. You're courting death. A group of dragon geniuses and elders charged madly into the spatial rift, transforming into rays of light that entered the Heaven Barbarian realm. Huh, you are indeed arrogant. I hope your bones are as tough as your actions. Crown Prince Xianzhen of the Mystic Mountain Prison, suppressing Dragon Clan, sneered and led his subordinates into the spatial rift. Crown Prince Xianzhen of the Burial Shadow, illusionary Dragon Clan, whistled. What a dark horse. Arrogant to the extreme. Crown Prince Xianzhen of the Myriad Fire Dragon Clan said with disdain, whether he is a true dragon or a despicable snake, we will know in the first round. Crown Prince Xianzhen of the Wind, Sacred Winged Dragon Clan laughed. Aren't you going to crush his dragon flag? Crown Prince Xianzhen of the Myriad Fire Dragon Clan said with disdain, Big Wing, do you think I'm stupid? If I take down his dragon flag now, doesn't that mean we are afraid of the Azure Dragon race? Which team here isn't stronger than the Azure Dragon race? If we want to crush them, we should do it when they become the champion. The prerequisite is that they have to last until the 4th round. Whoosh! Crown Prince Xianzhen of the Myriad Fire Dragon Clan transformed into a streak of fire and shot into the spatial rift. Just as he said, no one touched the Azure Dragon flag on the champion's seat. Wouldn't that mean they were afraid of the Azure Dragon race? The other primordial dragon teams also started to move. Some of the crown princes didn't even care about the Azure Dragon race. From the beginning of the first round, their gazes had been on the core region of the Heaven Barbarian plane. After 15 minutes, all the participating dragons had entered. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Hundreds of screens appeared in the air, shining with dragon light. The refracted light pierced through space and traveled millions of miles. Azure Dragon Race, Azure Dragon Palace. Countless members of the Azure Dragon race raised their heads in anticipation. Finally, a beam of light shone down, Two screens appeared in the sky above the Azure Dragon race. Lin Chun, Mu Tianqing, and the others appeared. I see it. It is the princess and the new king. They're really participating in the 10,000 Dragons conference. The new king is so bold. I didn't think that I would be able to see someone from my race standing on the stage of the 10,000 Dragons conference again in my lifetime. I can die without regrets. Many members of the Azure Dragon race cheered excitedly. Some elders cried tears of joy and kissed the ground of the Dragon Palace. The real-time situation of every team in the 10,000 Dragons conference would be projected to each race's territory so that their own race could personally witness their bravery. This was the work of a mighty figure of the dragon race. Hiss, could this test be the Heaven Barbarian plane recorded in the ancient books? It can't be wrong. It's that danger zone. The 10,000 Dragons conference this time is a bit too dangerous. Some Azure Dragon higher-ups' mouths twitched. The content of the 10,000 Dragons conference was different every time. This time, the first round was the Heaven Barbarian plane. It was clear that the later rounds would be even more terrifying. However, the Azure Dragon race was only happy for a few minutes before they all fell silent in the next second. Their mouths were wide open as they stared at the screens as if they had seen a ghost. It was as if they had seen something unprecedented. Chapter 1193. More than a dozen beams of light descended, and the entire Green Dragon tribe arrived at the Sky Barbarian dimension. They landed in a grayish-white valley. There were strange rocks everywhere, and there was no life at all. Every rock was 1,000,000 times heavier than the outside world. Boom! Just as Mu Tianqing and the others regained their footing, an earth-shattering force surged into their bodies. Cracking sounds of bones being crushed could be heard from their bodies. So heavy, the same thought flashed across everyone's mind. This gravity was enough to crush stars easily. Even ordinary holy dragons could not easily withstand gravity that was 1,000,000 times heavier. Fortunately, the Green Dragon tribe's elders had increased their cultivation and could barely withstand it. My dragon power has been restricted by nearly 1/3. Mu Tianqing frowned slightly. The others were not in a good situation either. Even the Grand Elder, who was the strongest, had his power suppressed by 1/4. Fortunately, the new king helped us transform our bloodlines. Otherwise, with the Green Dragon tribe's foundation, everyone would have at least 2/3 of their dragon power suppressed here. With so much power suppressed, it's equivalent to being at the mercy of others. First Elder was secretly shocked, and the admiration he had for Lin Chun in his heart grew even higher. However, only Lin Chun looked calm and relaxed. He floated in the air as if he was not affected at all. Ha! I didn't expect to be given such a big gift. New Green Dragon King, you were very arrogant outside just now. Swoosh! More than a dozen huge creatures flew into the air. Their dragon wings were burning with red flames. Their dragon scales were red, and their foreclaws were burning with red flames. Red Dragon Tribe? The Green Dragon Tribe's elders exclaimed. Mu Tianqing's cold face was filled with murderous intent. Everyone in the Myriad Dragon arena witnessed this scene and couldn't help but stare curiously at the thousands of screens that belonged to the Red Dragon Tribe and the Green Dragon Tribe. The Red Dragon Tribe has an ancient dragon tribe and has been developing rapidly for the past few thousand years. The strength of the participating teams this time is comparable to the top ancient dragon teams. The Green Dragon Tribe is in trouble. Let's see what trump cards the new Green Dragon King has. Maybe he can counterattack? Counterattack my ass. With the grade of the Azure Dragon race's bloodline, at least half of their dragon power would be suppressed. Their foundation is weak to begin with. How can they fight like this? Any trump card has to rely on a user's own foundation. I think the Azure Dragon clan is a pitiful worm that was tricked by this so-called new king. He, the dark horse of this competition, will be our Crimson Dragon tribe. A female dragon from the Crimson Dragon clan laughed like a human. There were 4 red dragons with more than 5 billion dragon power points and 9 with 3 billion dragon power points. In comparison, only the first elder and second elder had more than 50 dragon power points. There were 5 elders with 3 billion dragon power points, and the rest had around 2 billion dragon power points. Be it in terms of numbers or combat strength, the red dragon race firmly suppressed the green dragon race. However, Lin Shin smiled at the elders and said, "How about we give them a surprise? I don't think you guys need to go all out to deal with this kind of trash anymore, right?" The elders looked at each other, full of confidence. With a bang, they stepped into the air and flew up. "Remember, don't hold back. Kill them all." The crown prince of the red dragon race roared. All the red dragons opened their mouths, gathered their dragon breath, and spat out dozens of firestorms that surrounded the green dragon race. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Streaks of green light rushed out of the firestorms. The green dragon race maintained their human forms and were enveloped by the green light. They were unharmed? What? The crimson dragons cried out in shock. How could the green dragon tribe's trashy bloodline ability withstand their attacks? Mu Tianqing turned into a green light and flashed to the top of the red dragon race's head. Rip! Bang! In one move, the female dragon that mocked the green dragon race was beaten down on the spot. Her speed and strength were unimaginably fast. Dragon claw shadows, dragon breath, dragon tail. The green dragon race's aura surged forward. All of them only partially transformed into dragons and faced the red dragon race head-on. Bang, bang, bang. Heaven and earth shook. The green dragon race was outnumbered. They kept activating their bloodline ability and forced all the red dragons to retreat. What's going on? Something's wrong. The green dragon race is stronger than the red dragon race. Their restrictions are much lower than the red dragon race. The power of their bloodline ability shouldn't have reached this level. These guys used several excellent grade bloodline abilities in a row. Some of the dragon race experts were dumbfounded. The green dragon race's performance shocked everyone. The bloodline abilities of the beast race and the dragon race were also divided into grades. Similar to the grades of the human race's combat skills, divine abilities were roughly divided into normal, outstanding, superior, pinnacle, perfect, transcendent, and peerless. Normal divine abilities could be inherited with a trace of a Class 7 ferocious beast bloodline. Outstanding divine abilities could only be inherited by those with the bloodline of sacred beasts. Most of the excellent grade divine abilities were inherited from the dragon race. If the bloodline grade was not high, even if the inheritance was successful, it could not be used. As for pinnacle divine abilities, only a few of the primordial dragon race had them. However, they were very difficult to use and could only be used by the primordial dragon race. As for perfect divine abilities, every one of them represented the entire race and civilization. It was extremely rare to see them. Transcendent divine abilities were the primordial dragon race's pinnacle inheritance. As for peerless divine abilities, only the primordial dragon race had records. The scene of the green dragon race beating up the red dragon race frightened the people in the green dragon palace as if they had seen a ghost. The jump in strength was too terrifying. As far as they knew, only the previous dragon king of the green dragon race could use excellent grade divine abilities. Didn't this mean that all the green dragon elders had the potential of the previous dragon king? That was 2F** king ridiculous. Some of the dragon race experts' gazes pierced through space and stared at the silver-robed youth in the void with his arms crossed. Who is this new green dragon king in the sky barbarian plane? How is this possible? Although half of our dragon power was suppressed by 1,000,000 times the gravity, even half of our strength is enough to beat up these trash. How did they become so strong in such a short time? The red dragon crown prince roared in his heart. What they didn't know was that the gravity had suppressed more than half of their dragon power, while the green dragon tribe only had less than a third of their dragon power suppressed by the gravity. This was because the green dragon tribe's bloodline had undergone a drastic transformation. The 4 red dragon elders in the Sky Barbarian plane could only unleash 2. 5 billion dragon power for the same 5 billion dragon power, while the 2 green dragon elders could unleash 3. 8 billion dragon power. In addition, all the green dragon elders' bloodlines have been strengthened by Lin Shun to plus 13, increasing their power by a total of 240%. It had more than doubled. The excellent grade divine abilities that couldn't be used in the past because of the bloodline grade were now completely free of burden. I didn't expect the green dragon race to undergo such a transformation. I've underestimated you. There's still a long way to go. Elders, let's retreat and search for the Dragon Balls first. We'll deal with them when there are no restrictions in the second stage. The red dragon race couldn't fight and wanted to escape, but a silver-robed figure blocked their way. Red dragon race, what's the rush? You haven't had a taste of this prince's methods yet, have you? Lin Shun smiled domineeringly and sinisterly. Today, none of you from the Crimson Dragon clan can leave. Not even a single strand of hair. Chapter 1194. Oomph. Do you think you can stop all the experts of the Red Dragon race alone? What a joke. The Red Dragon Crown Prince sneered. He waved his dragon claw, and a 1,000-foot ring of spinning dragon flames surged toward Lin Shun. Everyone, leave first. I'll cover your retreat. When the Crimson Dragon Crown Prince fiercely pounced towards Lin Shun, the expressions of the 4 elders were greatly shocked. Crown Prince, not good. The elders of the Azure Dragon tribe held them back with all their might. Rip! A wisp of Azure Dragon light slashed down. When the Red Dragon Crown Prince's dragon flames were cut in half, a section of the Green Dragon Claw that crossed the mountain range appeared out of thin air and smashed down. Bang! The Red Dragon Crown Prince was smashed to the ground. His dragon scales cracked, and he vomited blood. His dragon eyes were filled with disbelief. The moment the new king made his move, he discovered a terrifying truth. What kind of joke is this? The Red Dragon Crown Prince roared and turned around. He opened his mouth and condensed a scorching dragon breath, forming a 1,000-foot-wide fireball. Whoosh! A holy phoenix wing swept out purple-red phoenix flames. Lin Shun appeared in front of him in a flash. His entire body was enshrouded in a dark azure dragon light. He punched the Red Dragon Crown Prince's dragon head again and sent his dragon breath fireball flying into the sky. Immediately after, Lin Shun sent his head flying with a knee. Grabbing with both hands, Lin Shun exerted force and broke the dragon tooth with a paw sound. He sent the Red Dragon Crown Prince flying with a whip kick, and dragon blood splattered all over the sky. Crown Prince. The 3 burning flame red dragons' dragon scales were broken, and dragon blood flowed. They were seriously injured. They charged out of the Azure Dragon race's blockade and rushed toward the Red Dragon Crown Prince. Lin Shun swung his body into the air, and his dragon tail appeared. An azure dragon light slashed across the sky like a sword beam. The sword beam split into 5 and instantly sent all the elders who were trying to help flying. Chila! The azure dragon light slashed horizontally like a sword, cutting through the dragon scales. The Red Dragon Crown Prince used all his strength, but still couldn't block this slash. His flesh and blood split open, and half of his body was cut open, dropping a large number of attribute light balls. Ugh, it's so painful, so painful. The Red Dragon Crown Prince howled miserably as blood spurted out like a fountain. The 2 elders finally broke through the encirclement and reached the Crown Prince's side. They hurriedly fed him a Bodhi seed and 2 types of body tempering ointment. However, the rare and precious healing item was completely useless on the Red Dragon Crown Prince. What's going on? The Dragon Marrow ointment has the effect of regrowing a severed arm. Why hasn't the Crown Prince's injury healed at all? The few elders who were hit by that fellow just now haven't recovered from their injuries yet. What sorcery is this? Everyone from the Crimson Dragon tribe was shocked. None of the elders who had been struck by the new Azure Dragon King had recovered from their injuries. They had remained in a heavily injured state. The Crimson Dragons watched helplessly as their crown prince, whom they had placed high hopes on, perished. There was no way to reverse the situation. He had actually bled to death. Strange. Even the 10,000 dragon gathering hall fell into a short period of silence. The atmosphere instantly became strange. What kind of move is this? I actually saw the Phoenix clan's phoenix wings on his back. What he used just now seemed to be a divine ability of the heavenly winged dragon clan. His offensive divine abilities seemed to have transformed into 5 types in an instant. That's too monstrous. Who is this new Azure Dragon King? Even the mighty dragons couldn't understand the situation in the Heaven Barbarian Plain. They knew that this new Azure Dragon King had many bloodlines, but they completely couldn't understand why he wasn't affected by the gravity of the Heaven Barbarian Plain. Inside the Heaven Barbarian Plain, the Azure Dragon tribe had surrounded the Crimson Dragon tribe. The Crimson Dragons were trembling with fear. The Grand Elder was burning with rage. New Azure Dragon King, are you still trying to kill us all? If you want to eat us, you'll have to lose a layer of skin. You won't gain anything by killing us. If you want to pass, you still have to find the Dragon Pearl, right? The other party attacked from the side, as if trying to force Lin Shun to retreat. The Azure Dragon tribe's second elder, Grand Elder, and Mu Tianqing all cast a look at Lin Shun, as if to tell him that if the Crimson Dragons counterattacked before death, they would also suffer many casualties. It would be quite disadvantageous for the following operation. Lin Shun twisted his neck and chuckled. Nonsense. Do you freaking think this is child's play? If I don't kill you now, will I keep you for the Lantern Festival? The gravity of the Heaven Barbarian Plain could suppress most of the ancient dragon tribe's power. The Azure Dragon tribe was completely relying on the advantage of their bloodline after strengthening to fight them head-on. If they were in the outside world, they wouldn't have this effect and opportunity. Now was the best time to kill them. Azure Dragon tribe, listen to my orders. Do it ruthlessly. You're in charge of holding them back. I'll kill them personally. How dare you trick the Azure Dragon tribe? Beat the sh*t out of them. With a loud roar, the Azure Dragon tribe followed Lin Shen's lead and swarmed forward. A fierce battle broke out again. Lin Shen waited for an opportunity and suddenly charged into the battle circle, waving his claws rapidly. Millennium Black Light Blade. The dark green dragon aura on the Azure Dragon Claw turned into a blade of light that flew up like a rain of flowers. It quickly cut into the bodies of several red dragon elders, tearing apart their defenses. The power of the sneak attack increased exponentially because of the strong attack. Triggered purple talent. Tier, strong attack, tear the target's defense. Power increased by 300%. Chi. As dragon blood splattered, Lin Shun threw out a slow rune with one hand, and the Red Dragon tribe's figures froze. While they were shocked, Lin Shen's speed was like a ghost. He flipped his dragon tail and slashed down violently. 5 streaks of dragon light were like blue blades that cut into the bodies of many red dragons, causing them to howl in pain. Consumed 3,000 talent points. Activated instant light, split shadows. Annihilation, split creation. It was originally a fierce battle, but the magical thing was that with the new Azure Dragon King joining the battle, the Red Dragon tribe was defeated repeatedly. They were no match for him at all. The Azure Dragon tribe was only in charge of delaying and defending. They relied completely on Lin Shen's sneak attacks to achieve miraculous results. The most terrifying thing was that all the Red Dragon tribe members who were injured by Lin Shen could not recover. Their injuries were like rolling snowballs, getting bigger and bigger. In the end, their injuries deeply affected their combat strength. Under the premise of the Heaven Barbarian Plains, 1,000,000 times gravity, it was extremely difficult to recover from injuries. Some internal injuries or serious injuries would continue to worsen and worsen due to the gravity until they died. Some red dragons were either killed by Lin Shun or bled to death on the spot. In the outside world, the Holy Dragon's vitality was extremely strong. However, in the Heaven Barbarian Plain, They were suppressed by the gravity and could not heal their injuries. They could not break out of the encirclement under the double blow and were exhausted to death. After 15 minutes of the battle, the Red Dragon tribe was left with 4 elders with 5 billion dragon energy points and that female dragon. Damn it, if I can't break out, I'll fight it out with you. A burning flame Red Dragon Elder was desperate. The flames on his dragon body surged, and he wanted to self-destruct. Lin Chen smiled. Super Chaos, activate. Rumble. Bang. 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 That elder's huge dragon body exploded uncontrollably. Not only did his violent dragon breath not succeed in self-destructing, but he also injured himself. The other 4 red dragons were the same. Some parts of their bodies, blood, dragon veins, flesh, and blood didn't listen to them at all. They fell into an unprecedented state of chaos. Whoosh! A slowing rune was used again, and Lin Chen slashed out with the Azure Dragon Sword again. Rip! 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 Dragon heads flew everywhere. The 4 strongest Red Dragon Elders were all beheaded, and a large number of attribute light balls rolled down. Mu Tianqing and the Green Dragon Elders stared at the silver-robed figure in the void with admiration and amazement in their eyes. Too powerful, so powerful that their scalps went numb. The many powerful dragons in the 10,000 Dragon Arena saw this scene and couldn't help but tremble as they gasped. All annihilated. The Green Dragon Tribe had faced the Red Dragon Tribe, whose combat strength and numbers were almost twice their size, and they had actually annihilated them. And not a single Green Dragon Tribe dragon died. This is the new king of the Green Dragon Tribe. What a new king! Jilling bang bang. Chapter 1195. Ha ha ha. Interesting. It seems like we've underestimated this new Azure Dragon King. He still has many secrets. Decisive in killing, cutting the weeds, and eliminating the roots. He has the potential to become an overlord. It's a pity that his bloodline grade is too low. Otherwise, we could focus on nurturing him. Those princes from the primordial dragon race are going to suffer. This brat might be as talented as some of the princes from the primordial dragon race. He's not affected by the 1 million times gravity. What a little monster. Heh, let's continue watching. No matter what, the first round is going to be interesting. The experts from the dragon race laughed heartily. Sky Barbarian Plane, Sovereign's Descent Energy Points, 65. 1 billion points, 68. 7 billion points, 72. 1 billion points, obtain 99. 92 million high-grade vitality points, 8,000 runic energy points, 4,000 heavenly Tao points, 9,000 high-grade fire energy points. After exterminating the Crimson Dragon race, Lin Chen's attribute point soared. In addition, the attribute points he had obtained from stealing 18,000 holy dragons had already reached a very terrifying level. Most of the bloodline abilities that my sacred dragon comprehended were originally of the outstanding grade, but after the baptism of the dragon altar and the strengthening of my bloodline, the lowest grade is of the outstanding grade. Winged Dragon's bloodline ability is close to the peak grade. I wonder what level the Sacred Phoenix's bloodline ability will reach. All of Lin Chen's bloodlines had increased by 15 points, which was a 410% increase. It was a 4-fold increase. Even outstanding bloodline abilities could reach the peak of their strength. In terms of bloodline abilities, Lin Chen was still a distance away from some of the princes from the primordial dragon race. However, his advantage lay in his purple and orange talents. Most of them were suitable for the Holy Dragon's bloodline abilities. I've stolen too much high-grade vitality points. With the addition of the flesh shell, my physical strength has reached 3 billion dragon energy points. The Holy Dragon's physical strength has soared to 5 billion dragon energy points. There aren't many mid-third heaven true saints who are a match for Sheng Long. Killing the Scarlet Dragon Crown Prince didn't drop any supreme grade treasure chests. Although he had the title of Crown Prince, he couldn't compare to Huan Wuxin, who had an ancient dragon bloodline. Lin Chen raised his hand and threw the red-robed woman in front of Mu Tianqing. Let's settle this. Mu Tianqing's face was as cold as ice. When she walked in front of the woman, her entire body trembled in fear. She immediately knelt down and cried, "No, Sister Tianqing, don't kill me. I was ordered by the Red Dragon King to poison your father. I was also forced by him. It really has nothing to do with me." Mu Tianqing sneered. "Nothing. On the day you and the Crimson Dragon King snatched the ancient dragon horn, you were laughing more happily than anyone else. Are you threatening me?" The red-robed woman trembled, then turned to look at Lin Shun and cried, "Great new Azure Dragon King, it's not like this. All right, I still have the spatial coordinates of the Red Dragon King's secret treasure. Don't kill this lowly concubine. This concubine can snatch the Red Dragon Clan's secret treasure for you." Rip. Mu Tianqing waved her hand, and the green light was like a blade as she beheaded the woman. Lin Shen laughed mockingly. "What? Are you afraid that I will spare her life?" Mu Tianqing shook her head. "No, I just feel that this person is a scourge. Even if I collect some interest now, I will find the Red Dragon King to take my revenge sooner or later." Lin Shen snapped his fingers. "Follow me to win the championship, and you will be qualified to take revenge." With a wave of his hand, dozens of long Kingwo landed in the hands of the Azure Dragon Elders. Among them, those who were slightly injured consumed large amounts of long Kingwo to quickly recover. A day later, in the frozen world of the Heaven Barbarian Plain, tens of thousands of icebergs rose and fell continuously. It was as if a world of ice had covered the land. The ice here had not melted for thousands of years, and the ice was as solid as gold. A small iceberg weighed hundreds of millions of tons. Bang! A divine dragon stepped into this place, and the moment he entered, he was suppressed to the ground by a terrifying force. Damn, it's so heavy. This is the central region of the Heaven Barbarian Plain. It's really not for show. Come out quickly. The gravity here is close to 4 million times that of the outside world. It's not a region that we ancient dragons can enter at all. Sai, we can only look at other regions to find the second Dragon Ball. Sho, lower your voice. Are you afraid that others don't know that we have a Dragon Ball?" A few divine dragons who had entered the frozen world crawled out with difficulty. That's right, they were indeed crawling out. After entering the frozen world, which belonged to the central region of the Heaven Barbarian Plain, the 4 million times gravity was unbearable for ancient dragons with less than 3 billion dragon power points. Even standing was difficult, let alone flying. When they finally crawled out of the frozen world and the pressure was reduced, a small team of divine dragons was about to leave when a murderous aura swept toward them. "Damn it, Azure Dragon Tribe, return our Dragon Ball. Aren't you very arrogant? Fight us if you have the guts. Shameless dog, SH*T. Do you only have one mouth?" Dozens of holy dragons were charging over in a majestic manner. The holy dragons felt their scalps go numb at the sight of this, and they instantly dodged to the side. Another young voice laughed mockingly and said, "Return the Dragon Ball to you." Chapter 1196. Lin Shen ruthlessly launched a wave of high-altitude feces, accurately sending feces into the mouths of every dragon. While they were enraged, the 5 strongest elders charged over aggressively, but the Azure Dragon elders blocked them in midair. Damn it! What grade of bloodline do these Azure Dragons possess? They can actually fly in the air like us. Not good. This kid is going to attack. Don't give him a chance. Lin Shen's hands transformed into Azure Dragon arms, and he threw out manifold black light blades at all the dragons. Dozens of dragons were so shocked that they didn't even care about the feces on their mouths and frantically crawled out. Bang! 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 The light blades beheaded 7 dragons and injured 18. The remaining dragons scrambled and crawled, using all their strength to escape from the frozen world. The 5 strongest ancient dragon clan elders were so frightened that they quickly retreated, their eyes wide and mouths agape. That's not right. What's going on? Why isn't his attack affected by gravity? According to the situation in the Heaven Barbarian plane, the deeper one went into the gravitational field, the greater the restriction on one's strength and the greater the suppression. There were only a few ways for dragons to withstand the gravity suppression. First, they had to be powerful. Second, their bloodline grade was extremely high. Third, they had to be good at defensive divine abilities, but the third type was relatively small. It mainly depended on their bloodline and strength. But the new Azure Dragon King's strength did not change at all. Whether it was 2 million times or 4 million times the gravity, he was practically unaffected. This is F** King fake, right? Even the primordial dragon race isn't this sick. Lin Shun kept the attribute light balls and fierce beast cores, waved his hand, and laughed as he left with the Azure Dragons. If you're not afraid of death, just chase after me. I'll kill as many as come. Lin Shen's abnormality even attracted the attention of the mighty figures of the dragon race. What a magical physique. He's actually not affected by the gravity suppression at all. His strength is only increasing. Even those primordial dragon crown princes can't do this. Why was Lin Shen not affected by the gravity suppression? It wasn't that the gravity was ineffective on him, but there was a deeper reason. In the depths of the frozen world, Lin Shun leaped into the air and found another Dragon Ball in a crack in a corner of the iceberg. Obtained 50,000 intermediate heavens path points. The white light attribute ball in the Dragon Ball was absorbed into his body, and Lin Shen's face was filled with excitement. As expected, each of the Dragon Balls has more than 50,000 heavenly Tao points. The heavenly Tao points can allow my main body to undergo more awakenings. Disregarding everything else, just the flesh shell awakening alone was extremely important. Lin Shen's pure strength was now 2 billion dragon power points. With 50% of the awakened flesh shell, that was 3 billion dragon power points. It was different from Lin Shen's godly strength user talent. Although the flesh shell's awakening could not be added to the holy dragon, it was suitable for the phantom rune. In other words, the pure power Lin Shen obtained through flesh shell awakening could be used on all of his avatars. What if the flesh shell awakened to 100% or 150%? Lin Shen didn't dare to imagine how much his battle prowess would soar. He wanted to collect a large number of Dragon Balls. To Lin Shen, however many Dragon Balls there were, he would take them all, even if he only touched them once. Each one was worth 50,000 heavenly Tao points. This was a huge profit. In the past, only by killing a second Heaven True Saint Realm expert would he be able to obtain this amount of heavenly Tao points. Now, he only needed to find the Dragon Balls. Suddenly, Lin Shen's group stopped in an ice valley. Lin Shen threw the 2 Dragon Balls without any attribute points to them and said indifferently, "There is no problem with the standard to pass. Hiding here should be able to last until the 3rd day." Mu Tianqing was curious. "Are you going to take action? Then at least bring the Grand Elder along." Lin Shen smiled and said, "No, the Grand Elder has to stay with the group. Our group's foundation is weak, and our strength will be suppressed by more than half in the Hidden Ice world. If there is any problem, we will need the support of the 2 elders. Moreover, if you come, you will only drag me down." All the elders were shocked. The new king's words, could it be that? The Grand Elder's expression was solemn. "New king, could it be that you?" Lin Shen nodded. "Yes, I want to go to the core area and compete for the purple Dragon Ball." The moment these words came out, all the Azure Dragon elders' mouths trembled. Although there were few Dragon Balls, it was enough for a group of Dragon Race teams to pass. There was only one purple Dragon Ball. Moreover, it was in the most central area, where the gravity was 10 million times stronger. Without a doubt, only the primordial dragon race and the top ancient dragon race teams were qualified to compete for the purple Dragon Ball. No matter how strong the new king was, it was impossible for him to kill his way there alone. "Hee, I don't need you to worry about me. Did we come here just for the honor of the dragon race? No, my goal is to win the championship, to beat those primordial dragon race members who look down on us." In Lin Shen's eyes, battle intent soared to the sky. All the elders looked at the pair of eyes behind the silver dragon mask and couldn't help but shake their heads in admiration. They had really followed an amazing new king. In the 10,000 Dragon Arena, the two grand elders of the Red Dragon race couldn't help but stand up when they saw that their team was completely wiped out by the Azure Dragon race. They gritted their teeth and roared, their killing intent soaring to the sky. What is it? Is someone trying to break the rules? Whoosh! A handsome and devilishly handsome man in snow-white clothes appeared on the high platform of the venue. It was actually a mighty figure of the dragon race. No, this mighty figure. Please calm down. How would this old man dare? The two grand elders of the Red Dragon race immediately cupped their fists respectfully and sat back down. Monstrous killing intent surged in their eyes. Damn it, this Azure Dragon race bastard. It's best if they're eliminated in the second round. If they don't get the honor of the dragon race, our race will immediately send experts to destroy their trash race. With the mighty figure of the dragon race holding the line, no one dared to be presumptuous. Before one wave subsided, another wave rose. Many dragon race experts saw through the screen that the new Azure Dragon King was actually charging into the depths of the frozen world. What's going on? Alone? He made the Azure Dragon race stay in the frozen world while he charged in alone. Is this guy crazy? If he goes in, it'll be 5 million times the gravity. Does he want to fight the other dragon race teams in that area alone? The Heaven Barbarian Plain, the core region, the gravity between 5 million and 6 million times. The world was gray and white, and all life was extinguished. A snow-white dragon, pearl the size of an egg, was sucked out from a crack in the ground and held by a jade-white hand. At that moment, hundreds of young figures stood within 5 kilometers. They were all the princes and princesses of the primordial dragon race. This was the limit of the primordial dragon race's territory. Furthermore, the elders of each race had agreed that it would be up to their own prodigies to snatch the dragon pearl. They would only guard the entrance of the 5 million times gravity area. At the level of the primordial dragon race, the primordial dragon race could no longer compare to each other. A slight battle would cause a huge battle, and the price would be huge. With the primordial dragon race's prodigies, it was not difficult to enter the deeper regions to find the dragon pearl. Thus, they might as well leave the decision to their own prodigies. Clap, clap, clap. A round of applause sounded, and the prodigy's eyes focused. I didn't expect to meet so many primordial dragon race prodigies. TSK, TSK, TSK. In the 6 million times gravity area, a figure mysteriously appeared. All the princesses and princes locked onto it. It was the new Azure Dragon King. At that moment, Lin Shun carried a pile of dragon pearls with one hand. There were as many as 10 of them. Some of the primordial dragon race prodigies' eyes lit up. Everyone, let's bet on the dignity of your primordial dragon race. How about we play a game? Lin Shun smiled mockingly. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.